always going on and on. Can't you keep it to yourself for once? Oh, I think I found a new way out, way beyond your shadow doubt. And I can't breathe. Oh, I hope you're keeping count of all the times you let me down, and all the things you said out loud, the bullshit I could cry about. And I know we could be stronger now, and leave it up to fate somehow. But everything I do for me. Oh.
I get lost sometimes and I can't seem to find a light between the walls I built for myself right in my mind. And then you came over and you showed me love that I never had seen before. And now when I got you, it's all gonna be alright. Thinking about all the things we did tonight, what a time to be alive. Just you and I, just you and I. Only you can put my fire out. You can turn it all around. You can lift me off the ground, so we can fly again, so we can fly again. I feel your heart beating here in this place. The pain has no meaning. I need to know I'm not alone. Now take it home as the night begins to fade away to yesterday. I wanna stay in this moment here with you. I know in this life we take what we're given, and the sun may still rise, but your light is missing. I need to know I'm not alone. Now take it home as the night begins to fade away to yesterday. I wanna stay in this moment here with you. I wish it were clear why you had to go. I wish you were near. I'll keep you right here beside me. I need to know I'm not alone.
Getting hype when I aim up. Elevating that game up. Stepping up to the competition. Only first place, and that's how I'm living. I'm winning till they digging up my grave. Eating all the things up on my plate. Game face when I step up into place. I was born and when I watched me elevate. I was born and when I watched me elevate. All in when I show up. Whole place about to blow up. Superior to that competition. I'm in first place, yeah, that's how I'm living. I'm winning till they digging up my grave. Eating all the things up on my plate. Game face when I step up into place. I was born and when I watched me elevate. Watch me elevate. I was born and when I watch me elevate.
wish you were near. I'll keep you right here beside me. I need to know I'm not alone. Now take it home as the night begins to fade away to yesterday. I wanna stay in this moment here. I need to know which way to go. Now take me home as the night begins to fade away to yesterday. I wanna stay in this moment here with you.
Good evening and welcome to Simplay Motorsport. Hope to find you very, very well. We are here live at the Temple of Speed, Monza. And what a tricky circuit this one is proving to be for a few of the drivers out there on the track this evening. I'm your host, Matthew Duffin, joined in the box once again by my handsome, attractive, dashing co-commentator, Dan Davis. Dan, how are you?
Ciao. Oh shit, still going wrong. Evening everybody. Hello everyone. How are we doing? That's about as good as my Italian get, other than Monza and Ascari and Parabolica and Lesmo. That's about as good as it gets, to be fair. Oh no. Okay, I got a better one actually. Antonio Giovinazzi. There you go. Yeah, welcome to this evening to, I don't quite understand why you said tricky, but welcome to Monza. Probably one of the most simplistic circuits that we come to this season. Probably one of the easiest to learn. And for some reason, everyone is struggling with it. The fastest track of the season, the Temple of Speed, the home of Ferrari. And we're looking at possibly Daz Automatic, PM Motorsports do something fancy in their Ferraris tonight, or even the Lamborghini of Shane, because obviously Lamborghini are Italian. But either way, I'm good, Matt. How are you?
Very well, thank you, Daniel. Very well indeed. And yes, people are struggling with this track, and we don't really know why. Even myself have had a few issues with this circuit. Not really sure why, but people are getting on with it. 12 driving at the moment. We hope to see some more join shortly as well. Bryn should make race 2. Argent, obviously, with the end of the financial tax year in England, is running a little late from work, and Lewis as well should be in to this one. The Temple of Speed, as Dan says, one of the easiest simplistic circuits to drive, but also challenging at the same time. You've got to make sure you don't outbrake yourself into the chicanes. You've got to make sure you get the 2 Lesmos absolutely spot on. But it is a tricky one. 6 minutes left of practice, just under 7 minutes actually left of practice. And your Drivers' Championship looks like this. With 208 Drivers' Championship points left up for grabs, Holty has a lead of 49 points from Shane, who is only 19 points clear of Argent himself. Pepe then, been quite consistent this year, as Pepe's had a bit of a Kelly season, is sitting in P4 on 198. Green Wolfenators 5th on 181, with KLF in 6th place on 175. PN Motorsport is on 167. As look at that, Lewis and Argent both get in the session now. It's a great to see. Daz Automatic P8 currently at the moment. We are waiting Stove Sloth as well to join, so hopefully he gets himself in. Daz Automatic P8, he's on a string of podium runs. Just as I say, Stove Sloth, look, he pops up. Daz on a string of podium runs, 142 points. Quite clear of Smithy on 124. P10 is Bryn on 116, with Stelsloff having one of his better seasons here at Simplay Motorsport in P11. Great to see him do well. DJ Phil is P12 on 106, with Walshy on P13 on 96 points. Dean Wasocki back from his absence last week on 91 points, P14. Then it's Dennis Newman, the double winner, not yet here tonight. He is on 75. Leon Fernie on P16 on 71. Lewis on 48 points in P17. And Hitman, after his podium last week, P18 on 38 points. Yet to see Chris Gito in, and I doubt we're possibly going to see him this season. So that's a shame for him. The Constructors' Championship, though, with 392 points left up for grabs. means that it looks a little like this. 139-point gap at the top between A&H Motorsport and Tickle Pink Motorsport first and second. East-West Motorsport are third with Audio Sport P4. MC Motorsport are in fifth place with the Racing Group in sixth. The Austrian Racing Club 7th, That's a Good One Racing P8, the Lone Ranger Racing of Dean Wasocki P9, JWB Esports of Dennis in P10, Team Oro Titan P11, and the JW Racing Esports 2 of Hitman P12. And if you're wondering why haven't they just teamed up together, they didn't want to drive the same car, but we allowed them to use the same name. Obviously, with independents coming possibly next season, it might not be a case of having a manufacturers championship. We'll have to wait and see what comes for the future. But Dan, it's been a season so far. We're coming into the last 4 weeks of this championship here in Pro-Am. It's been a season dominated by two men for two different reasons. Shane has annihilated qualifying, and Holty has really dominated and got a grasp of these races. Just talk us through this season from them perspectives.
Well, obviously, a lot of these guys, it's just a learning curve. This is a brand new game to a lot of people. It's all been about who can spend the most amount of time practicing and learning, basically. That's all it really is. To most of the guys, this is completely brand new. A lot of the guys that are now coming into the season, the likes of Hitman, Dennis, Pepe, and a few others like them, already know this game and are well established in this game as well. So it's already in their knowledge, and you know, they know how to do it. So a lot of the guys have to spend more time, and Holty and Shane do put a lot of time into this championship, and it's paying off, especially for Holty. He's in a car that's more stable, more balanced, and able to be running at the front, while Shane does pop out those good lap times in the Lamborghini, but obviously can't seem to keep it consistent throughout the race, which obviously the Lamborghini has that traits, with the rear being a bit loose and being a bit all over the place. But other than that, between these two, they really have dominated Pro-Am. The Wolfinator has been thereabouts, but I think we will start seeing a change towards the end of the season as we come to circuits that are a little bit more tight and twisty, and you really do need to put the time and effort into it, especially when we've got Zolder, Brands Hatch, and a track that a lot of these guys do not know on Misano, which is a MotoGP track. This is really going to be an interesting end to the season. But firstly, we are here in Monza for a circuit that everybody should know. And really, who's brave enough to get rid of the rear wing? And I'll tell you now, that Bentley is big, heavy, and will make a lovely windbreak. Let's put it that way.
It would make a lovely windbreak. It'd make a good, you know, the wind tunnels that F1 cars have. That's pretty much what you're going to get with this. Is no wind tunnel, just a pocket of air, or not even a pocket. A canyon of air for you to just drive through and hopefully set the fastest lap time. Holty currently 3 tenths off the best, which is Wolfinator, with Hitman currently P3. And Dan, obviously we've had a few different cars, a few new cars on the grid this season, a few new drivers join the grid. Have we had any surprises really this year in terms of car or driver, do we think? Or do we think that it's kind of been as we've expected from what we are aware of these drivers?
Regarding Pro or Pro-Am?
Pro-Am, to start with.
To be honest, Pro-Am, PN obviously shot me he was going in a Ferrari. He did a lot of testing that he was going to be in the Bentley. But again, to be when he signed up with Daz Automatic, it was just better for them to both go Ferrari anyway. McLaren, I was expecting a lot of drivers to pick the McLaren, the likes of Kelly and Smithy as well, who don't get much time to test. It's a very good all-round base car. It's easy to drive. Just to be honest, the biggest shot for me this season, and has really shown some real progression, has been Self-Sloth. He's been the shot for me this season that has really come into this game and has really took to it like Dr. Water. It's literally been so much better for him to run on this game than it has on Project Cars. So for Self-Sloth, that has really been a highlight for me this season, and especially in the Lamborghini, where that's a car that's very tricky to kind of... Once it's in the right window, it is very, very fast. But it's trying to get it in that window. That's the problem. But yeah, Self-Sloth for me has really been the standout shine for me. Obviously, Holty, I get to the point now, Holty and Shane really should be in the back end of Pro, you know, mid-pack Pro now, with their pace, with their running, and how far ahead they get in front of the rest of the pack. It's for me, it's been Self-Sloth that's been the shock here this season.
Yeah, kind of have to agree with you there, Dan. We saw on Project Cars 2 that he just seemed to struggle at times, didn't he? And he's come to this, and he's really started to shine and progress through it then. So what lap times are we looking at tonight? Well, you see the Wolfenator's done a 49. We're looking around the 150 mark in Pro-Am as a good lap time. If you're really good, you're in that 49. The lap record around here is a 147.1, done by a Mercedes-AMG GT3 in 2019 by Miguel Ramos. So there we go. Bit of a fact for you there. Qualifying, though, coming up in just a moment. Dan, it's all about the speed around here. And do we think this is where Shane and his Lamborghini may capitalise in qualifying yet again? Or do we think that McLaren and Bentley have enough straight line speed to put up a fight?
Well, technically on paper, the Lamborghini should be the one to watch out for. But the Bentley does pull. Does have a good engine. It does have the power underneath it. Yes, it's not aerodynamically the best car, but it does have that grunt. We know the Mercedes is a very fast car in a straight line, and it's, again, not the most sleekest of designs either. So I think it's more about the engine. I think the Bentley should still be up there, but this could be Shane's chance to bring that gap down. But by the rest of the lap times, it's not coming together, because really you kind of have to balance out how much aero you want to run around here.
Yeah.
Yes, you want to get as much rid of rear wing as you can possibly get, but at the same time, you need the car to be stable in fast corners. You know, turn 1, turn 2, Parabolica, Ascari is the hardest one to get right. So if you get rid of the wing, yes, you'll be very fast in a straight line, but you are going to become very unstable in Ascari. So whoever's brave enough to get rid of as much rear wing as possible, or whoever's more sensible and gone for more downforce to make sure that they're more stable, it all depends really. And with these guys running whatever setup they want in the qualifying and in the race, they can get rid of that wing in qualifying to get on pole and then add it back on in for the race. So I still think there's going to be Bentley versus McLaren for this pole tonight between Wolfenator and Holty, from what I've seen. I don't think Shane has it.
And don't forget this man here, Hitman, running in the 666 Aston Martin tonight, fourth fastest in the practice session. What can he do tonight, as he's just come out the second of the Lesmos and down the Curva del... Not even going to try and pronounce that third bit. Towards Ascari comes Hitman as he brakes hard into it. And Ascari, one of the trickier parts of this circuit. It's a very quick chicane compared to the other two. He gets it bang on. Takes a lot of curb, does the Aston Martin there, as he's about to start his first flying lap. Let's go on board with the Hitman here, just to take a look at his rundown into turn one. You see here on the dashboard cam, you get to see a bit more of the windscreen than you do from the cockpit camera view that drivers might use. And through the parabolic he goes. Pick up the power as early as you can. Use as much of that runoff on the left-hand side as you dare possible. He keeps it to the left-hand side of the circuit. Flat scat halfway through the parabolica, all the way down towards turn one, in which is the Variante Rettifio. Nailed that one. 150 metre board. Bang. Hit the brakes hard. Down the gears all the way to first. Off the brakes, let it roll in, get it gripped up, power down out the second part of the chicane. Now into the Curva Grande we go. He's again flat scat through here, absolutely not lifting around these bends. Got to keep it as tight to this right hand side as you dare, picking up as much speed as possible down towards the straight in front. He's got Lewis Allen in front of him in the Honda. 100 metre board, there it is. Hard on the brakes just a bit before that. Down into second. Touches the first apex, gets the second apex, rolls it through on the power. Up a couple of gears, we head to the first of the two Lesmos. A tricky right-hander, just a bit off camber, you see there, as he picks the apex up on the power. Uses much of that curb on the left-hand side. Now on the power, through the gears again. Down to third, through the second Lesmo, on the curb on the left-hand side once again, and a good long straight here. If you've got a slipstream, fantastic. If not, it's flat scat once again, all the way down to Ascari. You pick your braking zone just as you come back uphill out the tunnel. Oh, under the bridge, you hit the brakes just where that bit of tarmac was on the right-hand side. A lot of curb on the left. How brave are you to touch the curb on the right before taking a whole lot of curb on the left again? Use that runoff. Don't get too greedy. The gravel trap will pull you in as you're now flat once again down to the parabolica, spending majority of your lap time flat here on the gas on the power. Where do you brake? 100-metre board down from 6th all the way to 3rd. Let it roll in. You don't need to necessarily find the apex here before drifting the car out wide. Up the gears on the power. He probably just had a little wiggle mid-corner there, which possibly cost him a tenth or two. And down the start straight, if you are quick, you have set yourself a fantastic lap time of 1 minute 50.9. That is a good banker for Hitman in this qualifying session.
That is a good lap time as Wolfenator across the line, and he goes to the top of the table. Holty was just behind him. He has obviously invalidated his lap time, and the next car, I believe, on a lap is Shane, who's coming into the Parabolica. The Lamborghini trying to get the best exit out of the final corner and try and get a good run. Will any of the guys also try and do what's called a tow? Try and slipstream one another with their teammates? It can be done, and it can benefit massively, but also you have to nail it. You cannot get it wrong. One mistake, and you might as well say goodbye to your whole qualifying session. As Kelly, I think, is the next one.
It's Argent.
No, sorry. Argent next to come towards the line.
Yeah, goes P2 currently. Shane must have had a poor banker lap down at 1.3 off the pace of Wolfenator. Here comes Kelly out the exit of the Parabolica. Down the straight he comes. Interesting to see a lot of different drivers. They're going to the left-hand side of the circuit. If you watched F1 the other night, you saw a lot of drivers stay close to the pit wall on exit of Parabolica. A lot of drivers tonight, though, choosing to go to that racing line on the exit of the corner. DJ Phil Green, the next man to set a lap time. And what will he do here as he enters the Parabolica now? Looking to maybe keep up a top 10 run here in this championship this season. Here comes DJ Phil.
Reminder as well, ladies and gentlemen, that Leon Fernie, he may be sat in the pits. That's because he's taking a qualifying ban, as will Bryn. If he comes back in for race 2, he will not be able to qualify for race 2. So he'll have to start at the back of the pack. DJ Phil goes P8.
Hitman to the line and improves back within 0.4 of a second of the green Wolfenator, who once again is coming to the line himself. A man who's not got a time on the board yet is Holty and Stovsloff. Stovsloff just behind. Here we go. Wolfenator going towards the pit lane. Who is Holty's getting a tow from Stovsloff. There we go. Puts in P1, 0.3 of a second.
Right, what's Wolfenator got left underneath him? That is the question. 57 into the final corner. That is Pepe. He is on a decent lap here. He's going to come towards the line now. Where is this going to put him? It only puts him 9th, so not the best lap from him. Number 2, Smithy is the next one in Parabolica.
Here's Daz, though, to the line before Smithy. Daz crosses it, finds a bit of time, but not enough to move, move him up a place. Here comes Smithy then out of Parabolica before Argy Bargy comes to him. What does Smithy do? Goes P11 at the moment. Argent then, he's coming towards the line. Look at that Bentley just running the curb. Now he's flat to the floor, and he doesn't find any more time in this one, Dan, before KLF will come through. Currently 2.8 off his best, off the pole position time. What does Kelly have left in the locker as he comes to the line?
A lot of the guys really much stay to the outside of the circuit, which I find surprising. They want a straight line, well, make the shortest line to the line as possible. All of them just staying too far to the left. I personally would be getting as far over as I possibly can. PN into Parabolica as we speak. And Matt, I've just found an interesting fact. How much do you think, or how in a percentage, how often do you think these guys are full throttle in a percentage around here?
About 77, I'm going to say.
Was 84% of this track is full throttle. Wow. So and the longest flat out section is 1,520 meters, which is obviously the main straight. Downforce level is low as well. So there you go. There's some interesting facts about Monza.
Thank you very much, Dan. Louis Allen crosses the line, stays P5. Next driver to be on a valid lap time is Dean Wasocki, who's just exited Ascari. Towards the Parabolica he comes. Pepe picking up, I'd say a little tow, but the amount of air that Bentley punches in the air, it's probably picking up a humongous tow from Dean Wasocki's blue and yellow Bentley. Then into the Parabolica he comes. He now starts to let it drift out wide. Dean actually keeps it a little tighter through there than other drivers. Daz back in the pits. Daz been on a podium run of late, looking to do that again. Dean, he comes sort of middle of the track, puts the lap time on the board, good enough for P11. What about Pepe behind him? Doesn't improve on his time. The next car is Shane. He down in 8th place, really struggling at the moment, only goes 7th.
Yeah, Shane really is struggling by those things, and I guess it depends what he's gone downforce wise. If he's decided to add a bit of downforce just to be more stable, then fair play, then it might work. But in this case, at the minute, he is currently in P7. Crosses the line now. Argent is now P4 as he starts another lap. Who is there next to come across the line? That is KLF.
Yep, KLF towards the line before PN Motorsport, who's just coming through the Ascari chicane. Here comes KLF to the line. He goes P4. Wow, what a lap from Kelly then. Towards the end of this qualifying, he looks like he's going to bail on the rest of this qualifying. So he feels that's as best as he can do. 9/10 off the pole. Heck of a lap that from KLF 900. PN now into Parabolica, down in 10th. Couple of tenths of a second will really put him in the fight with Pepe here, just to get him up into that top 10, a bit more solid in this top 10 as well. Here comes PM Motorsport out of Parabolica towards the line now, and doesn't improve, but will get one more run of this. Hitman next to the line with car number 34. That is Louis Allen, and then DJ Phil just behind them.
Yeah, so here comes Hitman towards the line. Does he improve? He finds time, but he stays at P3 at the minute. Louis is the next to cross the line, and he stays P6 at the minute. These guys coming in thick and fast. Next one to keep an eye on is the Wolfinator. He is on a valid lap time. Has he found that 4/10 he needs as he crosses the line? No, he hasn't.
Stealth Sloth will be the next man on his valid lap. He's the only one to not yet set a valid lap.
He's done.
Kelly in the pits, Daz in the pits, as is Shane, Dean Wasocki, Holty now in the pits, as is Argent. So all these drivers done at the minute. Stealth Sloth will be the first man to take the checkered flag. He goes ahead of Smithy in qualifying, and the next man to set a lap time is going to be car 57 of Pepe. No, it's not. He's off at Parabolica. He's back in the pits. It is going to be Smithy to try and improve his lap time.
Yeah, Smithy in the final corner. He runs a little bit wide. He's able to grab that car and try and keep it within the Parabolica limits, but he's coming towards the start-finish line now. Any improvement? Can he get ahead of Stealth Sloth? Yes, he does. P13 for Smithy. So he gains a position there. Who is then next? I believe it is PN Motorsport, who's currently through Ascari as we speak.
He is currently through Ascari then, so Leon Fernie will start 15th, Stealth Sloth down in 14th with Smithy and his McLaren moving up to 13th place. DJ Phil still out there on a lap as well, so we'll keep an eye on him for improving his time, but it's currently PN Motorsport, needs just 0.2 of a second to get himself up. Shane, Dan, down in P8 in qualifying. Wow, that is a surprise. He's not been off the front row in Q1, and here he's not even nowhere near the front row. He has got work to do in this fight tonight. Here though comes PN Motorsport to the line. Does he improve? He does, but stays P10. What about the Hitman? Needs half a second. Can he find any time as he comes towards the line now? Hitman to the line, anytime found. Does find time but doesn't improve. Louis Allen crosses the line, goes P4, so a good lap from him. What about then DJ Phil?
DJ Phil and Wolfinator. Wolfinator coming to the line. DJ Phil is bailing and out the way of Wolfinator. Wolfinator towards the line. Has he found that 3/10 he needed?
No.
No.
So that is a shame for the Wolfinator then, but it will be then Holty with his first pole position this season. All them wins Holty's had, that is his first pole position of the season. Heck of a qualifying lap though from Louis Allen in P4 and KLF in P5. That is impressive from them two. Shane down in P8. Well, there's work to do there for him. He'll be disappointed with that one for sure.
He will indeed, but also he knows for a fact that being on pole isn't the be-all and end-all here. It can be a hindrance as well, but either way, we're about to get ready for the race, and I've already forgotten to return back to the garage, so that's a good start for me already. So I'm stuck on Wolfinator, so that's not a bad thing. But turn one's going to be everything. Obviously, we had the drum, a very fast corner of Eau Rouge and Radion. We come to Monza, and it's a very fast back straight down to a very slow stop at turn one. So drivers have to be aware and be cautious of one another and give each other the racing room and respect as they go into turn one. You can lose a lot of time just going into turn one and getting up in people's incidences, but also you can make a lot of positions if someone gets it slightly wrong. But the race, a lot of positions if someone gets it slightly wrong. But the race wins.
I'm gonna go Wolfinator for race one.
Oh, you
I think he's got the outright. I think he's got a bit more outright pace than Holty.
30 seconds.
You?
Well, I'm gonna go. I was gonna be boring and say Wolfinator as well, but I'm gonna go Holty.
30 seconds.
So there we go, Holty and Wolfinator. You've got the option of Holty, Wolfinator, Louis Allen or Hitman in the chat. If you disagree with any of them options, put in the comments who you think will be the race winner. What can Shane do from here? 10 seconds for the drivers to ready up. And away we are about to go for race 1 then. Here we go. The drivers will start to roll any moment now. When you're ready, chaps, there we go. And they have a short window to get as much heat into the tyres and brakes. Now, in this short window, I've been in practice, I've been trying to get as much temperature into the brakes as humanly possible. Who's going to do this tonight? Because cold brakes, like Dan said, down into that turn 1 could be disastrous.
There is a trick to it, but I wonder if anybody's doing it. From what I can see, no. So there is a clever trick. What you can do.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I'm not going to say it on air for our rivals who was watching, but I know what you mean. Wolfenator just having a little weave. Hitman having a little weave. Argy Bargy fancies copying them. And we are, for round 13, green and go here. And who gets the better start? It actually looks like Argent has from the mid-pack all over the back of Louis Allen, but it's halted from Wolfenator, who got away pretty even. Look at Argent, he's got nowhere to go. Louis Allen coming steaming past the Aston Martin of Hitman to the inside line. Halty now comes across to take his braking zone. Are they all going to brake early? Hitman's up the inside of the Wolfenator, and that is a Ferrari of either Daz Automatic or PN Motorsport, who has gone straight on PN. Thank you, Dan.
I was on board of him, and he just touched the grass, and as he touches the grass, the car does not want to start. The car locks up, and he goes straight on at turn 1. Luckily not to hit anyone, and everyone managing to survive turn 1. Meanwhile, Holty leads the way, as he's got Louis going right around the outside, doing a Sebastian Vettel and Alonso down into the second chicane, and Louis gets down the inside. Holty has to go across the curb, as does one of the McLarens, I believe. That is KLF. He's bounced over the curb.
That's Leon Fernie as well. Yeah, Leon Fernie in the background as well. Louis Allen now under attack from the Wolfenator for second place. But what a start from the Honda. And Dan, we did a 6-hour race of Monza in a BMW M4. What car won that day? The Honda. Is Louis Allen in the right car choice today? It's Holty from Louis. Then the Wolfenator coming up in P3. Argent's currently 4th. Hitman's down to 5th. Daz all over the Hitman, looking to make a move as they come towards Ascari. Look at the camera shot down the hill. They all come steaming past. Daz just trying to stick a nose out on the Hitman. Looks up the inside now into Ascari. Thinks better of it because you're not going to do it through there. Shane's in 7th. Kelly's 8th. Leon's 9th. Pepe down in 10th with Smithy 11th. Dean's up to 12th. DJ Phil 13th. Stokeslaw 14th for PN. 15th place. Leon Fernie, shout out for him. 15th to 9th in a lap. That is a good part. That is a good bit of racing early doors.
Yeah, no real incidents, there's no real problems either. Everyone keeping themselves clean as Louis gone very wide at Parabolica. That's going to allow Wolfenator to come down the inside. Here comes Argent. He should have the better traction, the better run down towards turn 1. But he's in the big, heavy Bentley. Is that going to slow him down? He's in the slipstream of Louis. Louis really pushes him to the edge of the circuit there. And now Argent goes to the outside, gets a slight toe off the back of the McLaren of the Wolfenator. And the Honda, though, with decent pace, stays ahead, and Louis just gets his stop. Here comes Hitman in Aston, and all sorts of guys trying to check up before they get to turn 1.
Oh, Leon Fernie's just gave that is a tap to KLF. I do believe on the rear that Leon Fernie has just tapped round KLF then to Pepe's now on the back of Kelly. Dean up to 11th ahead of Smithy. He's dropped down to 14th place with DJ Phil, Stovsloff, Smithy and PN all on the back of him. And Dan, this Honda looks like it's got a bit of speed in a straight line tonight.
Yeah, definitely so, even with Argent.
Oh, Holty's missed the chicane, Dan, apologies. Holty's missed the chicane at turn 2, and I think Wolfenator got in the gravel on the exit. This is, well, Holty's got to be careful here, because that will be a track limit warning for sure there.
Yeah, definitely so. All these guys, a very simplistic track, very easy to learn, and all these guys are just messing it up right now. Missing braking zones, missing apexes, having the straight line corners as well. And the pack, which is nice to see, is very close. Shane not really making any movement at the minute. He's currently P7 behind Daz, and he's got Leon Fernie coming down, breathing down his neck. Meanwhile, Argent on the attack of Louis up towards Ascari.
He is indeed. We're currently watching Stovsloff attack the back of DJ Phil, but we just catch that Argent battle. Oh, wow! Like a NASA rocket, he tries to take off, manages to land it, and aborts his launch. And Argent has lost a lot of time there. Hitman on the back of Louis now. Shane going down the inside of Argent in towards the Parabolica, and Shane has already got that one done. I think Argent may need some new undercrackers, Dan.
Yeah, definitely so. Hitman trying to go around the outside of Louis into Parabolica, but can't quite get the job done. Meanwhile, Daz is back again, once again, behind the outside of the podium positions. He's knocking on the door again.
Really
as they head
is.
towards turn 1 again, as Wolfenator is just starting to creep back onto Holty again.
And whatever issues Louis Allen has had this lap, he needs to get them sorted. He's clearly got pace to be running up the front. Needs to get these issues sorted. Daz late on the brakes, gets it stopped. How's he managed that? Can't get around the outside of Hitman. Just catches the gravel on the outside. Argent's got back ahead of Shane, so Shane had a problem at the parabolic. And then Leon Fernie's 8th, Kelly 9th, Pepe 10th from Dean Wysocki, Stel Sloth, Smithy, PN and DJ Phil's down to last. But you're right, the Wolfenator's got the gap, half a second to Holty as they come into the second chicane now. Them two are clear of the rest of the pack. And look at Argent up the inside of Daz now at the chicane. Thank you, Mama, for the carrots as Leon Fernie's missed it again.
Yeah, Leon Fernie's had to go straight on, and Kelly's giving him a flash, and Kelly goes through. So Leon Fernie's stopping himself from getting another track limits warning. He's gone.
Oh, Shane's round! Shane's round of the Lesmos! And he's had a spin. I think he's done it all on his own. He's had a spin. Here comes Dean. Oh, just narrowly avoid Shane there. Shane then dropping down the order. The pit window is open from race control. And a moment all on his own, Dan. He has lost a lot of time here. Valuable time as well.
He has indeed. Meanwhile, Holty, I just went on board with Holty. He was very wide in the second part of Ascari. So I think Holty's just struggling with a little bit of consistency here. And now Wolfenator is just losing a little bit of time here, but he's patiently just sat there waiting for something to happen. Meanwhile, Louis and Hitman having a solid race at the minute, going at it as Daz has lost some time. He's dropped down the order as well. By the rest of things, as Dean Wysocki's now passing him, as Dean's at a flyer in this one.
Yeah, Dave, fair play, Dean. He's up the order a little bit, and he looks like he's doing a good job so far. A bit twitchy into the parabolica. Oh, big wiggle there. Well held, Dean, from keeping that out the wall. That could give Daz, though, the ultimate chance to get through here. Stealth Sloth right on the back
too late now.
of... Oh, Dean's had a spin. Dean has had a spin. Shane and Daz straight into the pits. And for poor Dean Wysocki, he's had a moment.
Once again, as Kelly's had to straight line the chicane, he obviously wasn't making the braking zone. Meanwhile, Argent is now pressurising Hitman.
How many times did Dean used to go long? And every time he'd make a mistake, we'd criticise Dean for not pitting early. He's had one spin, he's straight into the pits. Clearly learning on his mistakes from Project Cars.
Possibly so. Meanwhile, Argent is still pressurising the Aston Martin. Louis, Hitman and Argent having a fantastic fight at the minute. Between these three, just for the final podium positions, as Kelly and Leon Fernie just a little bit outside these guys' fight at the minute. But if anything happens to these lot, Leon Fernie, Pepe and KLF all will benefit from it. But relatively good race so far, being clean and fair. 35 has got a speeding penalty.
Daz, stop-go penalty. He's not even done his pit stop. Neither's Dean Wysocki. They've not changed tyres. So Shane's in the pits. Daz and Dean have done their stops and come out. They've not completed their mandatory pit stop. They've got to do it all again. And that is heartbreaking. Daz with a stop-go penalty will not be getting a podium in this race one. Oh, contact! Hitman and Louis Allen through Ascari, and they're both round. Argent's capitalised. Here comes KLF. Leon Fernie through as well as Pepe. Stealth Sloth not quite near these two, but contact made through Ascari for Louis Allen and Hitman, and that is both of them in the wall.
What did I say about KLF? He was there just outside the podium positions. He was just within reach of these guys, and if anything had happened, he was there to capitalise. Now Argent back up to the podium positions. And KLF now P4. He'll be very happy with that at the minute, but he's got to keep it on the track and facing the right way.
He has indeed, as you see Louis Allen and Hitman dropping down the order. Hitman straight into the pits with damage here. How much has Louis Allen got? That's the question. Stealth Sloth up to 8th place now. Smithy will be in P10. That is PM just in front of him, and DJ Phil boxes. Now, we have to say as well, Daz stop-go penalty. Let's not forget, you are flat out on the exit of Ascari, and this pit line comes up rather quick. So will Daz come in? He's got to do a stop-go before he stop. We'll have to see. Dean as well got to pit again. Hitman and DJ Phil, though, into the pits. Gap out front has just been extended a little bit, but the man who's on a real charge and looks like he's got great pace was Kieran Argent. Could he get onto the back of these two leaders here?
Kieran Argent's last time was his fastest. It was a 51.0, so he is flying at the minute. Regarding the leaders, Holty, his last was a 50.1, so he's not quite on the same pace as Holty. Wolfenator, I think he's just lingering outside. Yeah, he's done his personal best last lap, which was a 50.3. But I think so far, Holty with the fastest lap with a 49.9 already race pace.
Well, there we go then. Dean and Daz back into the pit. Shane did do his stop and gone. DJ Phil, He's done the same as well. He's not completed his mandatory stop, Daniel. What is going on here? 3 drivers haven't done their mandatory pit stop. Hitman is done and now away. DJ Phil has to pit again. I cannot believe what we are seeing here.
Yeah, I'm not sure either what is going on with these guys. Maybe they're just forgetting to make sure they select their tyres to be changed before they went racing, or maybe there's been a slight hitch with their setups or something and it's gone completely wrong here. But meanwhile, Dean Wasocki is in the pits and he's gone again and it's not changed his tyres.
Wow, these drivers are making some massive errors.
Daz stop and go, I think.
We do believe Daz has done his stop and go. Dean will be in the pits for a 3rd time. He's now been lapped by Pepe. Down the field, Louis Allen still not pitting, neither Stelsoff or Pierre. Pierre normally loves a good early stop. Daz has completed his stop go and will have to pit again. Oh, it's going horribly wrong for Dean, DJ Phil and Daz Automatic in this first race, but it's Holty from Wolfenator who are coming up to lap the Hitman here. Argent's in 3rd place, a bit behind. He's 7.7 seconds behind. Kelly currently running in a solid 4th place with Leon Fernie. To say this man couldn't qualify, Dan, because he retired last week, P5, great opening couple of laps of this race for him.
But luckily for him, Monza is definitely a circuit you can overtake and you can gain places, and he is working his way up the order, currently sitting in that P5 position and looking very good at the minute. These two just lingering outside the podium at the minute, so if anything happens to the leaders, they are in the pound seat for some positions gained. But at the minute, both McLaren boys looking very, very good at the minute.
Louis Allen just putting a lap on Dean Wasocki, and Dean kindly moving out of his way. He knows it's not his fight. He gets through. Stealth Sloth coming through the 2nd of the Lesmos before PM Motorsport. Smithy then just entering the Lesmos now. DJ Phil is back in the pits, and this could be detrimental to his race. Shane then comes flying past. The Hitman will come flying past in a moment for position. Dean and Daz should be all right though, because they are still to pit themselves, and Holty's going to pull the trigger. Does the Wolfenator follow him in? No, he does not. So Holty looking for an undercut here to maybe gap the Wolfenator a bit more. Argent, big wiggle through the parabolica there, cannot pit and stays out on his merry way.
He does indeed, and to be honest, I think Wolfenator was probably starting to get into that situation where he was starting to get dirty air from the back of the Bentley. Before, he might have got benefit of a tow, where there was obviously a nice clear air for him to go through, but at the minute he was sitting in the dirty air of Holty and possibly disrupting his downforce. As Leon Fernie, by the way, is really bringing the gap down to Kelly, and I say that he's gone straight on at turn 1, and he's going to have to yield and give that time back.
He has. Fair play. He has done. I was just looking at it, and I just saw it changed to 9/10 as they crossed the line. So yeah, that's a shame for Leon Fernie. Stealth Sloth, PM Motorsport, Louis Allen, Smithy, all in the pits. Dean Wasocki's back in as well. Daz Automatic carries on his way.
Is heading towards Ascari as we speak, as these guys are in the pits. Holty's done. He's off and away he goes as all these guys come into the pit. Shane at the minute has just negotiated Ascari and heading towards a parabolic. Hang on a minute, Arjun's had a moment in Lesmo 1 and Kelly is now on the inside of Lesmo 2.
Right, not seeing that. I was watching the guys come into the pit lane. Louis Allen has pretty much gone to the bottom of the pits, and his pit box is halfway up. He's had to reverse, back up, back to this Kelly and Argent fight. The old rivals. Dean now finishes his pit stop. The old rivals going at it again, and Kelly's all of a sudden sat in a P3 before everybody completes their pit stops here. So Kelly going great guns.
Argent bouncing over the curb. Normally the Bentley seems to like the curbs, but in this case it's just clobbering them. He'd done a wheelie earlier on. He thought he was in the Fast and the Furious and think he was in the Dodge Charger and lifting the front up. But now, go on.
I wonder if that's damaged the front of his car, Dan, because he's had a few wiggles through corners.
Splitter damage, possibly. As Leon Fernie now onto the back of Argent, and Argent's gone into the pits.
Kelly's in as well, just in front of Argent. So Argent and Kelly in. Here comes
Pepe as well.
Oh, slow that down, slow that down, slow that down. Gee whiz, we was behind Argent there, and Pepe was charging into the pits. He comes. Louis Allen has got his pit stop done. Daz Automatic's going to go for one more lap. Shane, a real big winner out of that. Got ahead of Stealth Sloth, Hitman, and PM Motorsport, and Louis Allen, and Smithy. So even though he had his early spin, he's right back up to 7th place. And with Pepe in the pits, Shane only just going through Lesmo 2. What can he do in this one now? Daz still to pit, as is Leon Fernie and the Wolfenator, with Kelly, Argent, Pepe all in the pit lane now.
Wolfinator being very, very consistent at the minute. 1 minute 50.3. That's his personal best again. So Wolfinator, even though he's not fastest like overall raw pace, he is consistently quick. He's sitting there in the low 50s. May not be in the 49s all the time as Holty was earlier on, but he's in the 50s, and at the minute he's currently on a lap time that would put him faster than a 50 right now. But he's had a big twitch through Ascari, and he's lost all that time that he's just gained. So Wolfinator really starting to stress those tyres out as we are coming to the halfway stage of this race.
He's coming up to the back then of Hitman and a bit of lap traffic. Does Wolfinator here think of maybe coming into the pit lane as PN gets a great run out of Ascari, and he's going to look up the inside of Smithy, gets the job done already. So PN, great move there. Kelly has gone. Here comes Argent. Pepe's jumped Argent here.
Yeah, so Argent must have had
Shane's jumped Argent.
Yeah, Shane's done it as well. Here comes Stealth Sloth. So Stealth Sloth is going to get past him, as is Hitman. So all these guys have jumped Argent. Whereas Argent had that moment, he's had big damage to the front of the car. Maybe
he's got to have had more damage and more of a moment than what we saw at Ascari.
Wolfinator's in.
Wolfinator's in. Stealth Sloth missed the first chicane and yields that time to Argent. Gets it going once again now. So Argent back through. Pepe has lost out to Shane since his pit stop as well. So Shane now actually running in P5. Holty here. And net P3. He's in the wall. Oh, big damage after his pit stop. Huge damage as the belly of Holty now exits Ascari and hunts down the straight towards Parabolica. Wolfinator in the pits. Leon Fernie leads this race. But for KLF, how big a damage is that? Is Shane going to be on the podium?
Who knows, but possibly just pushing those tyres a little bit too hard too soon. Cold tyres, low pressures, the car will not be happy at that stage. Meanwhile, Holty exiting Parabolica. Wolfinator still in the pits. He's been dropped, but I think Holty should hang on, but Wolfinator will be able to get off the limiter pretty quick, but Holty retains the lead by the looks of things. Yes, he will.
And it looks like he's going to have a bigger gap than when he went into the pit stand. So Holty leads this race. KLF, well, he's only just at Parabolica. How close to Wolfinator could he have been? Shane's in fifth, Pepe sixth. Sorry, go on.
Put it this way, Holty's last lap, 49.8. He is that's his fastest lap so far, so he's really turned the heat up. Meanwhile, Leon Fernie still going in a minute, doing some decent lap times, by the way. And Shane now trying to hunt down KLF. How much damage has KLF got? That is the question.
That is the question. He's still going out there at the minute. 13 minutes, one of the hardest defenders to race against. Daz Automatic at Ascari chicane. And, big slide through Ascari. He has still to pit. So does Leon Fernie. And we'll see what he can do in this one.
Just keeping on this fight with Shane, Pepe and Kelly. And Pepe this season has really, he's not been the outright fastest, but he's always been consistent. He's been there to score the points, and when anyone has any problems or hiccups, he has been the one to capitalize on all of that. So Pepe, a little dark horse when it comes to races.
Yeah, indeed he is. He's really getting the best out of his Aston Martin. As you see him there in the background, he is Kelly. Shane just within a second of him now. And still a couple of drivers yet to pit. As we say this, Leon Fernie now comes into the... Oh, he's hit something. Oh, he's hit something hard. Leon Fernie has got big damage here. And is this going to tumble him down the order? Well, Holty's already at Parabolica. Wolfinator breaks in towards the Parabolica now. And it's Kelly who's trying to keep ahead of the Lamborghini of Shane. You have to question what damage has been done to the front right of that car, because it really went in hard into the wall.
Yeah, I mean, he could have possibly knocked the toe out ever so slightly. Probably get a suspension damage, definitely aero damage as well. So the car won't be happy when turning in. It might want to try and understeer the whole time. But also, my question is as well, Shane's really just been off the pace tonight. He's not really had overall a top race pace with Holty and the Wolfinator. So is Shane confident in this car, especially around this track? How easy is it going to be for him to overtake Kelly as they head towards turn one?
Well, you look at that, he's gained half a second just down the back straight, so clearly a bit of bodywork damage and aero performance from that McLaren being let down here due to its damage. But Kelly looks to be better through the corners, it would seem, because he gained a 10th over Shane in the middle sector. Through turns 1 and 2 they go. They're just pulling a little gap over Pepe here now, as Shane is going to look to hunt down Kelly towards the second chicane. I feel that Kelly's getting the better runs through the corner, which is just keeping him at the moment ahead of Shane. Shane's going to be right on the back of Kelly as they get towards the second chicane. Here he comes. Look, Kelly goes for that inside. Shane's just not close enough to have a look here. Shane on the brakes, Kelly on the brakes. Kelly makes it in as we see Leon Fernie. He's just tumbling down the order. And look at the run Kelly gets through that second chicane compared to Shane there, Dan. That's the key that's keeping Kelly in this fight here.
Yeah, so maybe, like I said, Shane's tried to get rid of as much wing as possible so he could be fast in the straight line, which is benefit him in the toe. But in the corners, in this middle sector, into the chicane, Lesmo 1, Lesmo 2, he's really struggling to sit on the back of Kelly with the damage. But as soon as he gets into the straight, he is right there, ready to pressurize KLF as they head towards Ascari.
Leon Fernie has completed his pit stop and is down in 10th place. He's now down in 11th place as Smithy gets past, and Daz Automatic, the only driver now still to pit then in this one. What happened there?
He just clipped the curb and the rear end didn't like it, so he just had a little wiggle on the exit of Ascari. But obviously, I know for a fact the Lamborghini doesn't like that curb anyway, and he just clipped it, and it just unstabled the car, and that's giving Kelly a little bit of a break as he heads towards the main straight. He's got 10 minutes to survive with a damaged McLaren against a very, very fast Lamborghini in a straight line.
Can Kelly keep it up? So the running order at the moment is Holty from Wolfenator, KLF currently P3 with Shane in 4th, Pepe 5th, Hitman in 6th place, not too far off these three. Argent's in 7th after his damage that we're not sure where he got from. Stelsloff currently 8th, good run for him. PN's in 9th with Smithy 10th, Daz in 11th, still to pit. Louis Allen 12th, what a disappointing night for him. DJ Phil 13th, Leon Fernie down in 14th after he got big damage, was leading this race at one stage.
Where's Kelly?
And Dean
Kelly's at a
Lusocki,
moment in the chicane.
final. He has, yes, he's now side by side with a Hitman.
Has he gone wide, or has he just got a little bit hot on the pedal and gone round? Shane is now up into P3 with Pepe just behind. Pepe's not actually a million miles away from Shane. Has Shane got damage to the front end of that car? Has they come together? Is that the question now?
Well, I'm just looking at the front end of Shane's car, and it doesn't look scuffed up on the splitter or on the front bumpers. I can't see anything that looks scuffed up anyway. Okay. Not sure. Did Kelly just make his own? I wonder if he did a bit of a PN and got on the grass maybe under the braking.
Do a bit of investigation here. My game might crash, but anything for the gram.
Anything. What Kelly's got to worry about now is Argent on the back of him, and poor Kelly. Don't forget.
Yes. So Kelly's hit the curb. He was a little bit slow on the first curb, and Shane got right up behind him, gave him the slightest bump, and around Kelly went. So Shane actually slight contact to the back of Kelly, and around he went.
Well, there we go then. That is what happened to KLF. Argent's going to be hunting him down. 15 drivers started the race, which means the top 8 cannot qualify. Stel Sloth not going to be able to qualify here unless he gets overtaken by PN. 4 seconds is that gap. Louis Allen to Daz Automatic is 2.2, but Daz has got to pit. He's only got 2.5 minutes just over to pit in this race. So Daz, a lot of work to do at the moment. They're only 7 seconds off the back of his teammate. What can he conjure up here? As Pepe 1.2 to Shane at the moment. Can he get that gap down anymore?
I haven't got a clue, because at the minute I'm trying to get myself back.
Well, there we go then. Argent 1.4 seconds off the back of KLF as they come into the first chicane. Now Kelly gets it right this time. Kelly, even with the damage, is still getting such a good exit through the chicane. But Argent's Bentley, we know how good it can be through the corners. It's not the quickest in a straight line. It's got a bit of grunt, but it's really good through the corners. Holty on his way to another famous victory here at the Temple of Speed, grabbing one hand on that championship. You have to say, Argent within 6/10 of KLF. These two resuming a long-term rivalry that has been long-standing. And Dan, here's a fact for you. Was thinking of this last night. Argy Bargy, every season Kieran has been in Pro-Am, has won the Constructors' Championship.
He's got Holty as a teammate this season, so far it is looking, these two are looking like the strongest team pairing.
It is looking mighty fine, isn't it, for them?
It is indeed. I am back into the lobby now, so
there we go.
I can see what's going on.
As we can see, Argent really gaining on the back of KLF through Ascari. And half a second the gap that separates them. Oh, Kieran's just got so much more speed than Kelly through Ascari. I don't know if Kelly got the middle part of Ascari right. Kieran now on the back of him, pulls out, looks to come side by side with Kieran. Down towards the Parabolica they come. Here comes Argy Bargy. Just doesn't seem to have the confidence to go around the outside of Kelly. Braked a little earlier and he's happy to just tuck behind KLF. But tries to now tuck under KLF. And he's done it an absolute peach. Kelly cannot fight this one at all. His car is just too wounded. And Kieran Argent sails by. Kelly now took straight back into that slipstream and will hope to get back past Kieran into the braking zone. Is that a slow McLaren? No, it looked like there was a slow McLaren somewhere of Phil or Leon Fernie. Not to be. And Kelly hard on the brakes. And oh, Kieran, a bit of a Lewis Hamilton, Max Verstappen squeeze there from Argy Bargy to the outside.
Leon Fernie is up in Lesmo too, and currently behind his teammate now. So two McLarens are together. So not sure which McLaren you were looking at, but Holty with a decent gap over the Wolfinator. He exits Ascari while Wolfinator enters Ascari. Shane in a solid P3 with Pepe in fourth.
Daz has not pitted. Daz has not pitted. I've just gone on him to see if he was going to dive into the pits. Daz has not pitted. That is going to give him a time penalty at the end of the race. He's not completed his mandatory pit stop. Unless Daz has evidence that he changed his tyres in the pit stop, that then is going to ruin Daz's race. PN has somewhere got past those softs, so he's up into P8 here.
He is indeed. PN having a solid race here.
He's done well this season, hasn't he, PN?
Yeah, he's just minding his own business, considering he didn't like the Ferrari. The Ferrari's been doing him justice, and right now the only races ahead of him are the usual consistent quick guys. So PN, I would say, it's a solid 8th place. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Has been all season. Right, Pepe. In a bit of no man. Oh, I say in a bit of no man's land. He's not got Shane up front. Shane has checked out, so Shane's found some pace this second half of the race. Pepe, though, has got Hitman within a second and a half of him, who's got Argent within a second and a half of him, and then Argent's just slowly now starting to pull away from a wounded McLaren of KLF 900. Kelly's got 23 seconds back to PM Motorsport. That isn't really going to happen because 4 minutes left. Kelly should stay out in front. Argent here, though, trying to get in on Hitman, who's pulled 2/10 on Hitman, actually, but Hitman has pulled 7/10 of a second nearly on Pepe. The two Aston Martins going to go at it here. And Hitman fancying a top 4 finish in this race. Here they come. Look at this. Pepe, Hitman, Argent, all together as Lewis Allen on the back of Daz for P10. In fact, no, he's ahead of Daz now for P10. So time screen's not updated there. Daz, though, big penalty. This could invite Dean Wasocki back into it here.
It would indeed. By the way, Pepe last lap 52, Hitman 51, Argent 50. So these guys lapping within a second of each other. Kelly's missed a chicane and bounced over it. He's obviously struggling with his car towards the end of this race. It was just such a shame he was in a solid P3 and just a bit hot on the power earlier on, as you see there. Hitman looking down the inside of Lesmo too as he's trying to attack Pepe, and I think he's got the job done. No, Pepe's still in front, so he's going to have a great run as they head towards Ascari, and Argent's right there, and who's just behind them is KLF, just in case anything happens. But right now they're going at it at Ascari. This could get messy.
This could get messy. Hitman has a look, tucks back in, thinks better of it this time around through Ascari. There you go. Who's going to get the best run? Pepe, not the best on exit, bounces over that final curb. Here comes Hitman, here comes Argent, and look at this. Are we going to get a 3 wide down the back straight? No, we're not. Argent's trying to follow Hitman through. He knows Hitman has got the more top speed. Argent don't know where to go at the moment. Pepe on the brakes, Hitman on the brakes. Pepe still up the inside. Hitman's tucked back in. Argent, though, has a move up the inside of Hitman at the Parabolica, so Hitman couldn't do what Argent did to Kelly, and Argent here tucks back in between the two Astons. Great manoeuvre from Kieran Argent, but Hitman now on the back of Argy Bargy. Down towards 2-1 they come. Lap 14 they've started. 2 minutes left in this race, and it's hotting up here at the back of the pack. Hitman pulls to the outside of Argy Bargy. Is Argent going to think a late braking on Pepe here? In towards 2-1. He goes. Oh, Pepe had to go a little deep, and Hitman turns Argent around.
Argent has got round, and KLF once again there when he needed to be, and possibly Argent trying his best to try and hit the apex, but Hitman was always going to still be there. So really interesting one. Possibly that one will be going into the stewards, but I feel like Hitman probably far enough alongside. He was entitled to the space. He was still making the move, and Argent looking like he's just squeezed him ever so slightly. But we'll see from the stewards' perspective and see how that comes out. Shane, on the other hand, has extended that gap lovely now between Nizar and Kelly. Is now back up into P5.
Back up into P5, very wide at Lesmo 1, and he tries to come across and close the door on Hitman, but Hitman's got a call there, and he can't get it done. Leader on the final lap from race control, so these guys have 1.5 laps left to go in this race. And Argy Bargy then is P7, where he's going to end up. Self-Sloth just dropping off the back of PM Motorsport here. Daz and Louis having a good fight. Louis down in 11th, but Daz, big penalty coming his way for not pitting. Smithy P12, Leon Fernie 13th, DJ Phil's 14th, Dean Wasaki's got some damage to the front of that Bentley, down in 15th place, but it's Holty who since the pit stops has just not looked back.
Hitman has got the run. He's going to the outside of KLF as they head towards Parabolica, and KLF with barely any straight line speed due to the damage to the front of his car. He's going to try and be later on the brakes, but Hitman goes around the outside and Kelly hits him, and around goes Hitman, and Kelly runs wide at Parabolica, and Hitman keeps that position back. As again, I think Kelly just a little bit optimistic on the brakes there, and Hitman going around the outside of Parabolica. It would have been a lovely move, but tripped over.
You know what it's like when you're driving with a wounded car, you start trying to brake late, get more out of it, and it just sometimes doesn't work. Kelly then just tapping Hitman. Hitman got the place back. Can Kelly, though, manage to keep this place? He's currently P6. Argent's behind him, and we know Kelly's a defender, and I wonder if he'll be able to keep this position. Through Ascari comes Holty now, so we'll keep our eyes on the number 9 on the track map as it comes towards the final corner. We'll just stay on board with Kelly for the time being. He's got a very fast Argy Bargy just behind him, dropping down to Louis Allen. He's within half a second of Daz, so we'll keep our eyes on that battle. But to Parabolic, to Parabolic, I was right the first time. Comes Holty here. It's going to be yet another race win. It's been 3 races without a win, and the Bentley is going to be top dog again here. It's Holty who takes round 13. The Wolferator pushed him very, very hard for a quality second place. A man who probably didn't think he was going to get a podium today. He's not just there yet. So
Argent is right on the back of KLF as they head towards Ascari. Sorry, Matt.
No,
as Kelly's really struggling with downforce here, and Argent's going to try and go around the outside of Ascari. He'll be brave to do so as Kelly holds his line. Argent's going to try and go around. He doesn't quite get the job. Shane, meanwhile, coming towards Parabolica.
Yep, we're just going to stay with with Kelly and Argent a little bit. I think Argent caught the grass and kicked a bit up. You keep an eye on Argent. Here comes Shane, then it's going to be a P3.
Argent's
probably
the
did touch back this.
Argent's
Argent's on the grass. Oh, he span. He's backwards. He's bounced off the wall. He's round some more. Pepe's going to come through for a P4. Where's PN? He's coming through Ascari. Argent's not yet got it going. He's in a wall again. Bounces off it. PN is coming. Pepe's finished 4 flat. Stay on board, Argent.
Kelly's waiting. Kelly's waiting. Kelly is waiting. He's waiting for Argent to come, and Argent's coming around the final corner. Kelly is going to let him through. Hitman finishes P5, and Kelly's let Argent through. As Kelly, he's run out of fuel, I think.
No way. Here comes PN Motorsport then. That is going to be a P7 for him. He will not be able to qualify. Stealth Sloth will finish P8. Stealth Sloth will not be able to qualify either. So what a dramatic scene at the moment. Daz didn't do his pit stop. We'll wait to see where Daz will finish in this race at the moment. And with his 130-second time penalty, the only man who's going to beat KLF then is going to be Louis Allen. We'll wait for these results to fully confirm themselves at the end of the race. Kelly, is he out of fuel?
He's got to be. He's got to be. He's not moving. He's not doing anything. I think he's out of fuel. He's got to be.
We can't see Kelly's fuel when we press drive. Is KLF out of fuel? Anybody in the chat want to confirm this for us? Wow. You thought he was letting Argent go. I thought it was a nice thing to do. The way he's parked that up, that's out of fuel. He'd have finished the race by now, would Kelly? Yeah, I think he's underfueled by a lap.
I think he has, yeah.
1 litre too light for me. Well then, we have to wait for the timer to count down to get us into practice. And what an end to that race that was.
Yeah, definitely so. A bit of a dramatic one. Kelly running out of fuel. He's obviously lost out massively on that one. He might as well just return back to the pits at this stage now. But yeah, Holty, strike one to me, Matthew. I get the first race with Holty taking the race win.
Honest to you for that one. Oh, is this Leon? No, he's not. Right. Daz stays P10, so Louis will cross the line P9. Daz gets 10th. He crossed the line after everybody else had finished. So Daz will stay P10 here. So even with his penalty, he stays 10th. Kelly will be then in 11th place. Smithy 12th. It's then going to be Leon Fernie 13th, DJ Phil 14th, and Dean Wasocki 15th place. We, though, will be right back in just a moment time. The top 8 cannot qualify. Don't go anywhere. Motorsport here for round 14 of the season, and we've got Holty in the commentary box with us at the moment. What a night for Holty so far. Quickest in qualifying, quickest in practice. Before we get to him, though, a quick run through of the championship points. 182 points left up for grabs, and it looks a little like this. Holty 54 points in front of Shane now, after Shane clawed back a podium. Argent P3 79 behind, with Pepe in 4th, 83 behind. Green Wolfenator is only 13 points behind Pepe in P5, so closing that gap. Kelly P6 with PN Motorsport 4 points behind him. Daz Automatic down in P8, 20 points clear of Smithy. Stealth Sloth P10 jumps ahead of Bryn, who drops to P11. DJ Phil stays P12 with Dean Wisocki moving ahead of Welshie into 13th place. Dennis Newman stays 15th with Welshie 14th. Lewis Allen up into 16th. Leon Fernie a point behind him in 17th, and Hitman 4 points behind Leon Fernie in 18th place. Bryn, DJ Phil, Dean Wisocki, Welshie, Dennis, Lewis, Leon Fernie and Hitman cannot win the championship. In the Constructors' battle, 343 points up for grabs, and it is A&H Motorsport, 159 clear of Tickle Pink, with East and West only 28 behind Tickle Pink in this one, so looking to possibly close that gap. Audio Sport P3, they are only 26 behind East and West, so they trying to close the door as well. MC Motorsport way behind, but the Racing Group P6 could gain on them. The Austrian Racing Club in the Independents are second place. That's a good one. Racing trying to close that gap to the Austrian Racing Club, but not doing so yet. Lone Ranger Racing still third in the Independents and ninth in the Constructors. JW Racing Esports of Dennis is P10. Team Oro Titan P11, and the JW Racing Esport 2 of Hitman is P12. JW Sport Racing 2, Team Oro Titan, JW Racing Esport, and the Lone Ranger Racing. And also, that's a good one, Racing cannot win the Constructors' Championship. That looks like Daz Automatic on his way out the pits. Bryn should be staying in the pits with a qualifying ban. And we are joined by your race winner and pole sitter, Holty. And just talk us through that one, Holty, because it wasn't your own way at the beginning. Louis put up a good fight in that opening lap.
Yeah, also the brakes and tyres were cold at the start. Coming into that first chicane, I just overshot it. I could have carried on, but I didn't really want to get myself a penalty, so I just lifted off and just had to go for it then, and then just start pumping some qualifying times.
You put in the qualifying times. Wolfenator was sort of matching you just a little bit slower. Did you think that he could pick his pace up? He was biding his time at one stage, or what was the thought before the pit stops?
Yeah, I knew he was going to be very close, obviously, with the quality times. I think it's only me and him that's been in the 149s. And I just had to gap him as soon as I could, really.
After the pit stops, though, you had a massive gap between you and him. It must have been nice to see him come out the pit so far behind. And it was cruise control from there, really, wasn't it?
Yeah, I noticed I was coming up towards the back marker. And also I didn't know how that was going to go, and didn't want to get stuck behind him, so I decided to pit. I thought Wolfenator was going to follow us in, but when he stayed out, I knew as soon as I come out, I just had to obviously start pumping some quality times in. But as I said, he was still the pits when I come down the start straight. I just had to keep hitting my braking points.
Race 2, you're going to be starting mid-pack, it looks like, at the moment. What can you do from there? What's the plan in the race?
Well, I just hope there's no carnage into this first chicane and everyone takes it easy through there, because obviously it's an hour race, this next one.
Yeah. Well, we wish you the best of luck, buddy. Go and get him.
Cheers.
So, Dan, we've been on board 3 drivers at the minute. We was on board Daz, he returned to the pits. We was on board Kelly, he returned to the pits. We've been on board Dean Wisocki, he's returned to the pits. Leon Fernie will now take us through the first flying lap of this qualifying session, nearly 2.5 minutes into the session.
Lovely. Luckily, it's not a long circuit, but either way, yeah, it's definitely an interesting one for this qualifying session. Holty absolutely dominating race 1 with quite a comfortable lead by the end of it, and Wolfenator just behind. Shane just keeping him within reach, but let's be honest, Holty really has got a good grip of this championship right now. Shane just doesn't seem to have any answer. Wolfenator at the minute doesn't seem to have the pace to keep with him, so as long as Holty keeps turning up, keeping his nose clean. He's looking good for this title, and really could be a threat possibly once he goes up into the pro category.
He could indeed, and obviously more drivers will drop out of the championship fight in this one, depending on the points that are scored in this one, Dan. And really, for Holt, he's starting to grasp that championship lead now, and he can grasp that title challenge, because 3 weeks left after this. There's 7 races left tonight, and then 2 at Brands, 2 at Zolder, 2 at Misano. And really, you have to say, Shane's got the work to do, especially with the fact that Argent, the more Argent starts to fall behind Holty, Argent's going to start to play second fiddle to Holty and play the team game.
Yeah, he's going to have to and help him out, really, if they want to be constructors and drivers champion. Also, Argent's really got to kind of kick a gear in and try and get himself up the championship as well, try and finish a 1-2. But at the minute, though, it's not looking that way. Argent needs to gain some points on Shane and Wolfinator. But we know for a fact that the next round of the season, Zolder really should benefit the Bentley a bit better than the other 2 circuits that we are going to. And I know for a fact that the Brands Hatch, after some experience that Matt figured out, the Bentley might not be the strongest there. We know for a fact the McLaren will be strong there.
Yeah.
And that's with the Aston Martin, but also the Ferrari. But Misano is going to be the interesting one for sure. I mean, I don't think the Bentley has all in all good pace around Misano. The Lamborghini for sure is definitely good around Misano. But again, by that point, Shane's probably already too many points behind.
Yeah.
So Shane's got to pull his finger out. But I really do think that this is really starting to go the way of Holty. I don't really see much happening.
Holty's got to have a disastrous last 3 weeks and a disastrous second race tonight for Shane to really claw his way back in. Leon Fernie from Smithy from DJ Phil, your current top 3. Louis Allen about to set a lap time as Dean, after half the session not setting a time, now gets on to his first flying lap. So it's took Dean a while, but he's now on his first flying lap. Here comes Louis Allen to the line and currently goes pole by 2.8 seconds, and he qualified 4th in the main race. I presume we're expecting him or Daz to be on pole for this one.
Yeah, for sure. At the minute, Louis is fastest at the minute as Kelly's coming around Parabolica. Is he going to improve on his lap time as he comes to the start-finish line? A 150.2 set by Louis. What does KLF do as he crosses the line? He goes P4, so a kind of a warm-up lap to start with.
Yeah, indeed, Leon Fernie exits Ascari and towards the Parabolica. He comes. Dean Wasocki, I think, has invalidated his lap time, so he is going to be down in 12th place at the moment. Really needs to get a quali lap on the board. And interesting to hear Holty say that he hopes there's no carnage up front. Him and Wolfinator will be the 2 that leads the quick guys away. Really, Dan, we're going to see now is on this reverse grid, all the quick guys going to be the cause of incident. Yeah, the reverse grid. Yeah, the reverse grid. All the quick guys going to be the cause of incidents into turn 1. You know, they've got to be early on the brakes like these guys was in race 1. So we'll have to see what they do. Louis Allen 9 times quicker than Daz. Here comes Smithy and DJ Phil to set their next times. Currently 5th and 6th fastest. Bit of a wiggle there for Smith on the exit. Here comes Smithy and DJ Phil. Smithy to the line, Phil to the line. Phil improves, Smithy improves slightly, but Phil goes to P5. Car 34 of Louis Allen invalidates his lap. So does Dean Wasocki, meaning that the next car to do a lap time will be Daz Automatic as he skips through Ascari and tries to get this one done. Bryn obviously serving a qualifying ban, which is why he's not going again. Smithy in the pits, car 34. Louis Allen is stopped. Is he waiting for a clear space on track, or has he ran out of fuel in his Honda? He's got 2 minutes 50, so he can probably pit and come back out here. Daz, though, to the Parabolica. Stays to that inside line. That's the line people in qualifying, I reckon, should have took. Daz, within 0.3 of a second of Louis Allen. Then KLF to the line now. What lap time is he going to put in? Goes 0.6 off of Louis Allen. Goes P3 currently. Leon Fernie, though, on a lap currently at the Ascari chicane.
It good close times at the minute. Leon Fernie just off the pace, Smithy and obviously DJFL just putting those lap times in so that they can basically finish ahead of the guys who are currently sitting in the pits. Dean Wasocki currently on track as well. He's currently in the
Lesmos.
middle sector. So who's in the final sector by looks things? That looks like Leon Fernie.
Yep, Leon Fernie to the line now and comes across the timing beam and breaks the timing beam, goes 2 tenths quicker than
close.
Kelly. It is getting close. Dean Wasocki, next man on a lap, not yet put one in. Needs to get a Ascari and the Parabolica right to get himself on this leaderboard. Can he put himself between Kelly and Phil? Will he put himself? Will he put himself between Phil and Smithy? Daz is done. He is in the pits. He will not get another run in here, as will Smithy. They are both finished. Dean Wasocki through a Ascari. Nice and tidy there from Dean. Now Parabolica to go. Leon Fernie has finished as well. And where's Kelly on track? Middle sector. So Kelly will get another. He will get another lap in here, will KLF. We're just on board Dean Wasocki now. Into Parabolica for Dean.
I'm currently on board with KLF. He's negotiated Ascari pretty well.
Dean towards the line. We'll jump back to Kelly in just a moment. Here comes Dean Wasocki. What's this lap time going to be? Goes P5, 3 seconds off the pace. Here comes KLF towards the Parabolica now.
Yep, he's had a fairly decent lap by the looks of things. He's just got to make sure he nails the final corner. He's a little bit twitchy as he goes into the corner. Probably carried a little bit too much speed going into Parabolica towards the start finish line. He comes 6 tenths off pole at the minute. Where does this put him?
Oh.
He only finds a 10th.
How much did he lose by having that slide through the Parabolica then? DJ Phil, Dean and Kelly, the only men on a lap time at the minute. DJ Phil comes through the Ascari chicane and is coming towards the Parabolica. He's on an invalid lap, I do believe. Yes, Kelly's invalidated his last lap. Oh, no. So there goes the chance of a front row start for KLF. But for DJ Phil, will he get one more run in 11 seconds? He's got to be quick here. Down towards the start line he comes. Will he get that one last run in? No, will not. Finishes P6. So Dean Wasocki, the only man who can improve in this one then. Where is this going to put him in this qualifying session at the moment? Currently running P5. Looking though to put himself up the order and maybe get himself a little higher up. Gets a scoring horribly wrong. Big slide, big wiggle. Round she goes. Louis Allen's going to be on pole. And Dean Wasocki is done for qualifying. That, though, is your grid. And that is how they will line up. Louis Allen from Daz in this one as I'm inputting the data now. And Dan's busy tipper-tapping away. He's working hard in the background.
Well, we never stop here at Simplay Motorsport. We always make sure we provide the best entertainment and the fairest driving as well. And I forgot again to...
You forgot to press start.
Too busy doing the stewards inquiries for Formula One. But either way, it's going to be an interesting one this next race as they all start to get themselves set up ready for this hour-long race. And Kelly looking to try and make do with what he did in race 1, try and work his way to the front possibly. Daz could possibly get another podium. Louis, after a very strong start, could be the man to keep an eye on for this one. But what can the guys at the back of the pack do with the likes of Wolfinator, Holty, Hitman and PN trying to come back from the back of the pack?
Race 2 winner for yourself, Dan?
We're going to go Louis.
I'm going to go Daz.
Oh, who's getting cursed? Remember, I'm 1 up at the minute.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. And
30 seconds.
If you want your say, Louis Allen, Daz, Holty, Green Wolfinator in the chat. If you disagree with any of them, put who you think will win this race. Honda then. Another pole position for the Honda this year. That's 2 pole positions for the Honda. It's had more than the Bentley already and the Audi. And it's only 1 pole position behind the Ferrari. 12 pole positions for the Honda in all-time here. And for Louis Allen, just his 2nd pole position at Simplay Motorsport, putting him tied on 2 with the likes of Ivor Tibbs, AH, Aidan Bennett, Bossoff, Deeks, Nicky, Stealth Sloth, Welshie, WRSCJ, X-Mart, the only G. So good company, some of them drivers in that list. Watch the stream. Go back through it. You'll agree with me after.
Just reminds me a bit of prolapse, to be honest. To the new people, they probably go, "What is he on about prolapse?"
What's a prolapse? Who's a prolapse?
So,
yeah.
You never want a prolapse. When you do get invited by prolapse, you have to call. You have to go to him. You know. But either way, it's going to be an interesting one. Ferrari versus Honda, Japan versus Italy, and Daz versus Louis. Who is going to get the better start? You've got the two British McLarens just behind them.
You've actually got what? Well, it's green and go here for round 13. You've got a massive amount of British cars behind them before the next Italian one. What's happened? What has happened?
There's all sorts of chaos at the back. Holty's been involved.
Shane's round.
Been involved. They're all involved in this. Argent's in the wall. What has happened there?
Well, I'm sure we'll find out, but down towards turn 1 they all come now. It's Louis from Daz. Automatic's been overtaken by Leon Fernie. DJ Phil's missed the chicane. Kelly's in P4. Dean's now 5th with Smithy running in 6th place. DJ Phil has got to wait for everybody to go through. Wolfenator's running 8th. He's got massive damage to the back of his car. Holty's struggling with damage.
I'm trying to look back on the stream to see what happened, because it's just like they all just ploughed into one another.
Oh, Kelly's missed his brakes and straight into the side of Daz. And that's put Daz right off here. Dean Wasocki now looks to get a run on Daz. Can't do so. He's going to have to just be patient about it. But Kelly, Dale $8 short on the brakes. He's kept it going into 3rd. Daz is now very wide. And Dean now gets up the inside. Here comes Bryn from the back of the pack. Couldn't qualify. He's just past Wolfenator. And it's all a little bit, you're going to have to, it's all a bit chaotic here. It's very pro-am, as we like to call it. Bryn hunting down on the back then of Smithy and Daz Automatic, who are side by side going into a scory. Bryn, you might want to bail out of this one into a scory chicane. It's going to be tough around the outside there, and he does so. Daz, though, gets past Smithy. So it's Louis Allen from Leon Fernie. KLF bumps his way into 3rd. Dean Wasocki in a good 4th place with Smithy 5th. Daz Automatic in 6th. Bryn 7th. Oh, he's had a big wiggle. But he's off. He's on the track. And gets collected by, I think it's Holty who's collected him. It is Holty. PN's on the grass. Argent's gone through. Chaos in race 2.
It's a Constantina effect. So basically, we went green. We had Wolfenator, we had Hitman all behind DJ Phil, by the looks of things. Phil just did not move. He did not go. He just kind of the slow start. Wolfenator had to check up. Hitman had to check up. And at that point, they'd made contact, and then it was a Constantina effect where everybody went into him.
Green Wolfenator going up the inside then, so DJ Phil's poor start has caused a lot of carnage, and Dan, Holty, Hitman, PN and Bryn all into the pits already. Chaos, says Jamie Brazier in the chat. 4 cars already in the pits. That has ruined their race. DJ Phil gets going. Keeps going, sorry, but Wolfenator didn't get past Smithy through the chicane, so Smithy hung on to it. Daz now attacking the back of Dean.
There's going to be a lot of stewards inquiries after this one. I think there's already chaos. I'm currently.
So Phil just didn't get going.
It just didn't, he's still rolling, he's still moving, but he just didn't hit the accelerator by the looks of things. And like I said, Wolfenator had to check up. Then Hitman swam to the back of him, and then at that point, Hitman had spun around and then into the path of the rest of the drivers as well. So it was just a messy start, and a lot of the drivers had nowhere to go.
Nowhere to go. Dean has Daz crawling all over the back of him, and Smithy has the Wolfenator now in front of him. So Wolfenator's got that one done. Dean's round in a scory. Pirouetting round. Can he get it back going before the Wolfenator comes? He can. He keeps it out of the way and manages to get back through, but Wolfenator is going to be so quick here that he should get past Dean on the straight. Here comes Wolfenator on. Dean Wasocki was running in a good 4th. He's now down to 5th. And
so you know, we were saying that Holdy needed a bad race to
but the problem is Shane got caught up in the same drama here as Dean. Oof, manages to keep it. Sorry, apologies.
Stealth Sloth has just passed Argent, or is Argent being passed by Stealth Sloth here? Argent's past Stealth Sloth by the list of things, so Argent up another place. He's now looking to attack Pepe as Holty. Hitman's come back out, but Holty's still in the pits, as is Brent. PN's very slow. He's allowing the leaders through as he's just done his pit stop. But
Shane's just put a lap on Holty.
Smithy.
Shane's just put a lap on Holty. Smithy Dean has lost out to Smithy and has a wounded. It's really Peppy down that was the wounded cause. Hitman and who else was in the pits? There was 4 in the pits. Hitman and Holty and PN are the drivers that have repaired their damage. Bryn's come in and is still in. And well, what a shame as Argent and Peppy go side by side. Argent gets it done, gets it stopped at the second chicane, and that is another move done. And good job there from Argent, good move up. And away he goes. Argent's got to be careful here now, though, because he's got the cars that are undamaged bar Wolfenator in front of him.
Yeah, so he's got to work his way through the pack ever so slowly, as Louis, with quite a comfortable lead at the minute from Leon Fernie in second. Kelly is not a million miles away in third, and Daz not too far away either. So those 4 kind of got away from all these incidences and ran away with this one so far. Wolfenator, though, with hopefully with a bit of time between Smithy and Dean trying to stop Argent, as Argent's already got Dean going to Ascari. So Argent's having a good recovery drive at the minute. His next target is Smithy and the teammates of KLF as they head towards Parabolica.
Stovsloff was across the gas at Ascari, so clearly struggling there. He's got Shane 4 seconds off the back of him. Phil's 10 seconds behind Shane. Hitman's only at turn 1. PN's a lap down. Holty's a lap down. Bryn's got going. He's a lap down. And well, what a night to forget for these guys. Daz gaining on the back of Kelly once again here. It was Kelly who lunged on Daz. And yeah, minute stop. People need to hold your brakes when you spin. So PN clearly unhappy. Someone rolling on the circuit after a spin. Well,
Argent has passed Smithy already, so Smithy's lost that place. But it looks like Smithy's got a little bit more straight line speed than Argent at the minute. But Argent's missed his brakes and gone straight on at turn 1.
Yeah, he's going to have to yield all that time then as the cars are coming past. Argent may have to sit and wait as the cars come through. Oh, Argent Bargy just returned straight to the racing line there.
Yeah, he needs to be a bit more courteous of when he returning back on track. That was on the limit, as Dean is racing Smithy and he comes and chops his nose off.
Yeah, Dean was on the back of Smithy and Argent just comes and interrupts his battle. Dean now has to wait patiently as Argent just struggling with his damage. Argent bouncing all over the curbs. Then it's Peppy. Then it's Stovsloff. Then it's Shane. There then is PM Motorsport as well, trying to keep on the back of these people. But Dan, Louis out front has absolutely checked out. 4 seconds in the lead.
Yeah, I think Leon Fernie's starting to struggle a little bit. He has got KLF and Daz slowly working their way. So the gap was 2.9 between Leon Fernie and KLF. It is now 1.8. So the McLaren and the Ferrari of KLF and Daz. Daz had a great run through Ascari and has got past KLF. I think KLF had a little wobble exiting Ascari. So now Daz is back up to 3rd place. Kelly has lost some time, but they're both catching Leon Fernie quite quickly.
We missed
struggling to catch him.
He is indeed. We missed that one as Argent got past Smithy, and Peppy is on the back of Stovsloff he's on the back of Dean Wysocki, bringing Stovsloff with him here. So what can Dean do? He's got these. Don't forget, Dean's got a pit stop advantage over these cars. These are all walking wounded at the moment. So yes, he's losing track position to these guys, but their pit stop is going to be far, far greater as Peppy. Shane now on the back of Stovsloff as well. Peppy's bonnet slightly lifted on the front, as is Stealth. Shane doesn't look too bad. So I wonder if Argent, Shane and the Wolfenator got away with very little damage at the beginning of this race compared to Peppy and Stovsloff. Then as we go on board Stovsloff goes to have a look at Peppy down into turn 1, and is it just a look? No, he's going to absolutely lunge up the inside, forces Peppy wide and Stealth all over the sausage curbs, gets it horribly wrong on the sausage curb again, and now Shane's going to get the run on Stovsloff on the exit.
He is indeed. Shane having to be very patient and cautious there as he comes on to at the back of Stovsloff, and he's on the inside now of Stovsloff as they head towards the 2nd chicane. And right now the Lamborghini of Shane is slowly working his way up the order, not as quickly as Argent, but Stovsloff's still better on the brakes there and stays ahead of Shane. Meanwhile, PN just goes straight on behind him.
He's missed it, yeah. He's absolutely missed it. Daz now on the back of Leon Fernie up front. Kelly trying to get on the back of this pack. Oh, what's happened?
Smithy went a little bit wide out of Lesmo 1, and that's given Dean the opportunity to go down the inside of Lesmo 2. Has he got the job done? They're still side by side as they head towards Ascari, but Dean has got the job done.
Dean, job done then. Daz on the exit of Ascari down towards the back straight towards Parabolica is looking each way to Sunday for a move past Leon Fernie. He's going to dive up the inside and he just taps the rear of Leon Fernie, who drifts it wide, manages to keep a hold of it. And Daz manages to get through, but look who's lurking in the background. It's KLF who gets a much better run through. And Daz, I think, being a little courteous there, giving the place back to Leon Fernie, but that has cost him a place to KLF. And Kelly now on the back of Leon Fernie for this P2. Lewis is checked out up front at 8.9 seconds the gap. Here comes Kelly, late on the brakes. Not this time like he was on lap 1 to Daz. Leon Fernie's missed the chicane.
Yeah, he's going to have to concede the place. He's going to have to lose the time there. Meanwhile, Wolfenayer has been slowly working his way onto the back of this pack.
He's rejoined.
Kelly, he has rejoined.
Now,
and Kelly now has got the run. He's lifted there.
Yeah.
Kelly is now alongside. Is Leon Fernie giving him enough space?
Yeah,
enough
massive
advantage? As Kelly's going to be on the outside of the second chicane. Leon Fernie now brakes for the second chicane. And is he going to get it turned in? He's going to have to... Oh, he just gets it stopped as they go 3 wide on exit. And there goes Leon Fernie.
And what do they say, Dan? 3 into 1? Nah, don't even attempt it. But Kelly up to second place. Leon Fernie now down in 5th. Daz up to 3rd. Wolfenator is now up to 4th. But what Leon Fernie did there was he stayed off the racing line. He lifted a little bit. That's what Argent should have done.
Shane's in a really dangerous position right now. He's got Pepe right behind him. He's got a relatively quick stealth slot in front of him. And then Smithy just in front of him as well. He's really in the danger zone right now, Shane. He's in a position where he really doesn't want to be right now. Smithy goes a little bit wide on exit of Lesmo 1.
Have you seen who's in the background?
Behind them, yeah, Holty's just in the background.
A lap down, though. He is a lap down. But he's got to find his way through this pack because he's got a second pit stop to make. Even though Shane's got a longer pit stop with that bit of damage he's got, Holty's got to pit again. So it's not going to matter to Shane. Shane's kept going here. Right, out front, Louis Allen, 10.8. Clear of Kelly as Daz. What happened, Dan?
He goes into Parabolica and just a little bit late on the brakes and nearly collected the back of KLF, bailed out and manages to avoid him. So Kelly currently P2 and 11 seconds behind Louis at the minute. So Louis has got a comfortable gap out in front.
Wolfenator running 4th with a bit of damage to the back of his car going well. Argent's up to 5th with a bit of damage to his car really running well. Leon Fernie has now lost out to Dean. He's got massive damage. He's boxing. And Shane behind is cleared. Stealth Sloth and Smithy. Stealth Sloth's actually lost out to Pepe and Holty and all of that as well. So Stealth maybe had an off, but Argent was 5th. Dean's now up to 6th. Shane's 7th with Smithy 8th. Pepe 9th. Stealth at 10th. Go on.
Maybe Stealth Sloth tried to make a move on Smithy. Didn't work out
Possibly.
for him. And Shane benefited from all of that. And he's already cleared this pack very quickly. Yeah. Within a half a lap, he's made a second on Smithy. And Holty in the middle of all this, he's obviously trying to unlap himself from these lot. But how far up the order can he get? That is the question. He's going to really have to rely on pit stops and a little bit of luck to gain himself some decent points. But him and Argent will not be too happy after this one, as Holty goes around the outside of Pepe. And Pepe knows he's not going to fight a lapped car. He's just going to let him go and focus on getting his way through Smithy.
He knows that Holty's been in the pits and has a fresh car. Leon Fernie in them. DJ Phil and Hitman, they've just swapped places for 12th and 13th. They'll get 11th place now as Leon Fernie is in the pits. Holty's currently 14th. PN 15th and Bryn down the back in 16th place, but unlaps himself from Leon Fernie. So that then will put him hopefully close to the back of him. What's happening with Daz and Kelly?
It just Daz is very loose on the back of his car. He's just going through Ascari and hanging it sideways. A man who's having a decent race at the minute, quietly minding his own business, is Dean Wasaki. He's currently P6, doing very well at the minute, and he's a bit off the back of Argent. He has got Shane starting to breathe down his neck, but Leon Fernie in the pits for an age here, as Daz lost a little bit of time to KLF as well. So the pack is starting to string out a little bit, other than behind Smithy.
Yeah, as we say, behind Smithy. Stealth Sloth finds himself side by side with Smithy, and up the inside he goes. He goes a little deep, though, on the braking. Smithy comes back underneath, and what driving this is from Smithy. We have lost Leon Fernie, which will be then another qualifying ban for Leon Fernie next week. He can get himself back in to finish this race, but it will be another qualifying ban for Leon Fernie next week if he doesn't come in, and that will be his second this season in GT3s. 3 retirements, don't forget, he's minus 25 points. I think Bryn's had 2 to his name as well. Stealth Sloth down the inside, and now gets the move on Smithy done. Smithy trying to come back at him though, looks to cut underneath as Stokes outbraked himself, and I think that Lamborghini's grunt's just going to keep himself ahead of Smithy. Yes, it does.
Louis now just lapping DJ Phil. He now moves his way past him and extends his gap. Kelly's actually matching Louis at the minute. There's 11 seconds was the gap as they come to the second delta. And now, Daz really not making any inroads now on Kelly. He just seems to be just outside of his pace, or just matching his pace, sorry, as Kelly is now matching Louis at the front. So if Louis makes a mistake, he could be in a little bit of trouble, but he has got that 11-second buffer as Wolfinator now breathing down the neck of these two. One of the only few men to get in the 49s, and here he comes. He's looking to try and make his advantage on Daz and KLF.
Stokes down the pack for 9th, right on the back of Pepe here, so clearly has a better call than Pepe. He pulls to the inside line as they come towards Ascari, and on the brakes, does Stealth go deep? I hope not, because that'll be a lovely move. Stealth, job done, easy as you like. Thank you, Mama, for the carrots on that one, Stokes. Great driving from Stealth here, back up into 8th place. Back down the pack a little bit. Pepe trying to come back at him with Smithy. Fighting off PN. PN trying to unlap himself, who is 7 seconds behind Holty. Holty with a fresh car compared to Shane. He's now right on the back of Shane in this race and can now try and get that up front. Daz 1.3 to Kelly. Wolfinator 1.9 to Daz as Louis Allen out front already at the second chicane. Kelly will break that timing beam, and I think they're a little closer to Louis here. Nope, still 10.7. I was wrong.
Well, no, the gap was 11 plus, and then 12 seconds. They are bringing it down slowly. I've been keeping an eye on this. Wolfinator bounces over the curb, and he's in the gravel trap, and all that hard work he's just done is just completely undone now.
Just went on board the slow McLaren up front, which was DJ Phil, and just see that in the background. That was a huge bounce from the Wolfinator there. Was getting on the back of Daz Automatic, and now is possibly going to find Argent coming behind him. Argent's had a great recovery here from being in the wall at the start line, let's not forget. Dean has got a very fast Shane coming up to the back of him. Sorry, Dan.
Kelly's having to go defensive because Daz is right there. 2 tenths now separating. Daz is going to go down the inside of Ascari. He gets the job done, and Kelly thinking better of fighting him. As Daz goes through Ascari, and there is DJ Phil indicating to the right, saying, I'm staying here, you guys go left.
Daz is very loose through that chicane.
He is very, very loose everywhere.
Jeez.
So Daz now up in the second place position, and these two, even though they've been scrapping, they're catching Louis bit by bit.
Do we think that Kelly had a bit of a mistake? Maybe ran a little wide at one of the Lesmos because he had a second gap to Daz, and Daz quickly caught him. So I wonder if Kelly's gone a little deep at one of the Lesmos then. Had a little moment through one.
I just think Daz has got a bit more pace, to be honest. I think Daz is just a little bit quicker at this stage of the race. Kelly, probably the thing that he'll be looking to do now is probably use Daz and try and work their way onto the back of Louis, because Louis is not a million miles away. He is through turn 1 before them, but they're gaining time on him. They were 11 seconds behind. They're now 10.8. So they're slowly, very slowly, working their way onto Louis. But we've still got 42 minutes left to go.
Dean Wysocki here. Holty's unlapped himself from Shane. Dean Wysocki's actually gained 2 tenths over Shane. So Dean actually having a pretty decent second race here.
Yeah, he seems to have dialed in his car a little bit better, so it's a little bit more comfortable. Kelly's now attacking Daz. Daz has had a very good second chicane as they're heading towards the Lesmos. These two are having a cracking scrap right now, as Daz is trying to defend from Kelly, and all this is doing is bringing Wolfinator back into the frame. As I say, that Wolfinator goes very wide at Lesmo 2, touches the grass and loses his time again.
Yeah, so 2 steps forward, 3 steps back for Daz Automatic at the minute. Kelly trying to keep pace with, for Green Wolfinator. Kelly trying to keep pace with Daz Automatic. But Louis had a mistake at Ascari, Dan. I've just jumped onto Louis. He's returning from a mistake at the Ascari chicane.
There is a pink Lamborghini
it's
as
Bryn.
well.
It's Bryn.
Has Louis had to make an evasive action? Wow, you know what's going to happen here then. You know what I'm doing.
Yeah, replay time. Bryn can't afford another retirement, otherwise that'll be minus 25 points to his championship and to his team's championship, and that'll ruin the Constructors' fight that they're already losing a fighting battle there. But the leaders now, Louis Allen did have 10.8 seconds. He's now got 3.8 seconds. Oh, Smithy's in the wall of the Ascari. He's had a bit of a hit there. Hitman's nowhere near, so that's fine for him.
No. So Bryn has had a moment through Ascari. He has dropped the rear and has just rolled forwards, and Louis is in the wrong place at the wrong time. Hits him side on, front end damage for Louis.
What a shame. Dean, 3.1 to Shane, but has got Holty coming towards him. So that will possibly be... Dean will want to realise that he's got Holty behind him here and just not really fight with Holty. Let Holty go. Daz not dropping Kelly here. 1 second's the gap. Daz just creeping ahead of Kelly. Not really dropping him at a great rate of knots here. Oh, we've lost Bryn.
That'll be it. 25 points taken from the team if he doesn't come back and complete the race. Simple as that. So Shane will be... I just feel that Bryn just really seems to be struggling with this game. Not enjoying it as much as he would like Project Cars, but Shane's going to be all on his nose himself to the end of the race unless Bryn decides to come back. But he is going to be a couple of laps down.
Bryn is back. Bryn is back. Bryn is back. So I'm not sure what happened there. Maybe a disconnection. Now Virgin Media in the UK have been having a few internet problems, and Bryn is one of the Virgin Media customers, as am I and Holty. So I wonder if his Wi-Fi's had a bit of a problem. Then as Daz has a wiggle through Ascari, and now that Parabolica, him and Kelly have a bit of a coming together, and it bounces Kelly wide at Parabolica. So these two now back squabbling again.
And Assetoo busy squabbling with one another. Louis extends his gap. I think Louis is going to be struggling. Wolfinator into the pits. He is serving his pit stop. He's possibly got damage. So with clean air and a clean car, he might be one to keep an eye on later on. But Louis with front end damage after clouting the front of Bryn.
Surprised
he might struggle.
Argent didn't box at the end of that lap. That might be why. Might be letting Holty pit to get a lot of time done and get a lot of time in and out. Shane could have pitted. His teammates come back in from being disconnected, so Shane could have pitted. And but either way, he's got to wait now 2 minutes for Bryn, so hopefully not going to be too long. So we'll see what happens here. Shane, though, gaining on the back of Dean Wasocki.
As Daz is really loose again as he goes through Lesmo too. It seems to me like Kelly has a lot better stable car and is able to keep it consistent, while Daz has got the quicker car. He just has a couple of moments, loose couple of moments.
So hit and miss.
Momentarily in Ascari. Not sure why, but
that could only be Louis. But Louis extended that. Louis extended that gap back to 5.1 seconds here.
Not sure why that is. Maybe.
I think Kelly's had a moment through Ascari. Was that a preemptive yellow flag for KLF there? Whoever's read that one, well done. Wolfinator's done in the pits. Holty is done in the pits. Hitman's carried on his way. DJ Phil has pitted, repaired all his damage, but has forgot to change tyre yet again here. Bryn's out the pits. He will have to come back in. Kelly then coming into the pits. Daz and Louis stay out. What about Argy Bargy? His teammate has been and gone. Argent staying out there. Now this surprises me. Get in, get that damage done and get that car repaired. Shane and Dean side by side into Parabolica. And Dean just a little earlier on the brakes, just looks, oh no, he's going to come back underneath Shane here. Is he? Side by side. You said Louis. I said Daz. Well, Dean and Shane didn't pit, and Shane has passed Dean Wasocki.
Well, healthy. So, right now, Daz is... I'm currently keeping an eye on Daz and Louis. Louis in a big train of cars at the minute of Phil and Bryn, who are both going very slow. And a second time, Bryn has been caught with Louis breathing out. Louis gone wide as well in Lesmo 2. The lap traffic
Got to do something
slow.
About this blue flag rule.
They're going slow, but with DJ Phil offline, or Bryn's still online. So it's a little bit sloppy as Bryn's coming back at Louis as he comes into Ascari and hits the back of Louis as well.
No.
So Bryn...
That lagged on my end.
On my end, he looked like he tapped the rear of him as DJ Phil allows
Did he
Daz to
seem
go
to
through.
bounce
Daz is, yeah, he bounced, but still Bryn is very, very close to the back of Louis, and obviously this will be making Louis a bit unsettled right now.
Yeah,
to go
indeed.
into Parabolica. But Louis now possibly losing chunks of time to Daz, and he's probably thinking, get in, fix the damage. As Louis comes into the pits, will Daz get it slowed down this time because he got a penalty last time out? He's coming in, he's coming in. Here comes DJ Phil. He's also into the pits as well because he forgot to change his tyres.
Yep, that's the second time Phil comes in.
This is going to be an interesting stop. Meanwhile, KLF is
Lesmo
in
1.
Lesmo 1. So I think if KLF gets to Ascari, just as they come to a stop, well, Louis already come to a stop, so yeah, I think Louis should be okay. As Jamie even says, definitely tap the rear of Louis, so that's what he thinks from the screen. And that's
Shane's
what
in.
I thought I saw.
Shane pulls the trigger, Dean pulls the trigger. Halty then is at Lesmo 1, but I believe is a lap down to
Stealth
Shane, so we'll see. Stealth Sloth in, Smithy not yet in, Argent stayed out, Hitman's stayed out, Bryn's got a pit, Smithy's coming
Everyone's
in.
coming in.
So Argent takes this race lead here. Where is KLF? Right, coming up towards the Parabolica. He brakes for the Parabolica.
Louis
now.
might have had damage, remember. So
yeah, and Daz, because Kelly hit Daz earlier on when he missed his brakes. So them
Kelly,
two may have
Daz
damage.
Has dropped, so is Louis.
Kelly
Daz
exits Parabolica. Kelly's exited the Parabolica. Daz has jumped Louis in the pit. Here comes KLF
very
down the start straight. Kelly's at full top speed. Here comes Kelly. There is DJ Phil. And Kelly, I believe, takes a net first place in this race. Louis and Daz come out together. And Kelly leads here in this one. Argent still not pitted. Hitman still not pitted. Bryn still to pit as well. Where's Dean Wasocki? Shane, Stealth, Sloth and Smithy. Dean's away. So Dean's going to re-jump Shane here, is he? Possibly not. No, Shane will come out the pits ahead of Dean. Dean's P5 though at the minute.
Here's the question now, Matt. Did Kelly repair his damage? Did he, any damage that he had, did he repair it, or is he happy to run it as it is? Meanwhile, Louis and Daz did repair theirs. Daz came out ahead. Louis now attacking. They're going to be busy squabbling one another as Louis looks down the inside of the chicane, and they've come together.
Yeah, looked like Daz just tried to turn in there and Louis was side by side with him. DJ Phil's off track here and they all come through to avoid him. They've got a quick Hitman coming through as well. Bryn, Argent, Hitman still to pit. So Hitman trying to unlap himself. Hitman's up into 5th but has to pit. Green Wolfinator got past Shane.
He's not a lap down. This is for position.
Yes, apologies, sorry, it's Bryn that's a lap down, apologies. When does Hitman pit? When does Argent pit? When does Bryn pit? Shane and Dean 7th and 8th. Wolfinator's up into 6th. But Wolfinator to these two, he's not a million miles away. Danny's in the background of Hitman. Is Wolfinator to Daz and Louis?
Yeah, and while these two are too busy squabbling, Hitman's in the back of them as well. Wolfinator's going to catch the back of him, and Kelly is now 10.1 ahead of Daz. So where we had Louis 10 seconds down the road, and KLF and Daz fighting each other, we now have Daz and Louis fighting each other 10 seconds behind Kelly. So the whole reversal has happened here, and Wolfinator is hunting them down once again.
Ebbing and flowing. Ebbing and flowing. It's a saying we've not heard in a while. And that is what is happening tonight. Louis now having to defend from Hitman. If I was Louis here, I'd let Hitman go and attack Daz because of the fact he's got to pit in this race. 12 minutes still left. He's got to pit. Bryn coming through Ascari, he still has to pit. Argent coming up towards the Parabolica, he still has to pit. Louis and Hitman side by side into 1 and 2. Looks like Hitman's going to get the job done. No, Louis stays out in front, and Daz now. Louis fighting this too hard with a car that's not pitted yet. Daz is now being able to pull away here.
And Wolfinator is just creeping onto the back of Louis once again. So the question is here, Kelly's just got to keep it smooth, consistent and facing the right way while these guys are too busy squabbling with each other. We've got a very fast green Wolfinator coming through the pack. Hitman's trying to get himself back in a racing position. Yeah. And Shane's Shane's quite a bit away back from Wolfinator, but either way, Louis is a little bit more pace on Daz, I think. Daz is the slower car, but Kelly's the overall slowest of these 4, I would say. And he's just got to hope that the guys behind too busy squabble with one another. which they're doing.
Yes. Yeah, they are doing. And you say Shane's too far back. Shane, 22 seconds. But while these four are all... Shane could get himself on the back of this pack, depending on how hard they fight each other.
Oh, Daz takes a lot of curb, and he's very brave on the curbs. The Ferrari seems to absorb it quite well. Hitman, he's got two problems here. He's quick enough to get past these guys, but if he pits too early, he's going to end up himself back in the pack again.
Yeah.
So he's trying to use that speed and advantage of the pit window being open so that he can extend his chances of being ahead of the cars behind him. Now,
then,
Louis is now looking like he's going to give the run to Hitman, and I think he's lifted ever so slightly. No, he's still going.
No.
He's still
Pull
outside,
him.
and he's still
pulls
fighting
back in front. He is pulled back in front, Dan. The other argument to your thing there about Hitman is Hitman's then could possibly be losing time if contact is made and more damage in this pack. Hitman to the outside of turn 1, tucks back in behind Louis. We're halfway through the race. There's the green Wolfinator. And there's a man in the background catching this pack, Dan. A big Bentley of the number 9 of Holty, who is nowhere near Smithy. Smithy's coming towards Parabolica as Holty's towards the second chicane. Holty will want to clear this, so he's got as much of a chance to get through everybody.
Yeah, we're only halfway through this race. Kelly still maintaining that gap. Meanwhile, Daz has got the guys behind him as Argent has now decided to pit as Kelly is going through Lesmo 2. This could be interesting as well because Argent's coming to the pits. He could drop into this scrap.
Well, he may have a bit of damage from the start, let's not forget. He's only just stopped at his box. Kelly is towards Ascari. Daz is just come out of Lesmo. In fact, these four have just come out of Lesmo too. So it's going to be interesting to see where Argent feeds back into this race. Bryn's still not pitted yet, neither as the Hitman, as we know. And Hitman here, Wolfinator's not really pulling on them as I thought he might.
No. But at the same time, he looks like he's being wary of the cars in front.
Yes.
If anything, he knows Hitman is going to have to pit at some point, so he's just possibly letting him.
Argent, stop. I don't think he's repaired whatever damage he's had because he's green. He's now rolling down the pit lane. Kelly's going to retake this race lead. Oh, we've got a battle here between two rivals for the race lead. Argent is going to be next second place.
Argent's going to be in this scrap with Daz and all. Because Daz
Argent's off the limiter.
Yeah, but Daz is up to speed.
Yeah, but look, I'm on board Argent now. You can see Daz in the background as the camera's just panned away. There's Daz, look. Argent's well clear of Daz.
But how much has he repaired the damage and how much damage? Not helping banging him over the curb doesn't help Argent. But as Hitman has finally cleared Louis, but he's made a mess of
look at that. Yeah, look at that. All Constantine up through turn 1 and 2. Hitman's now back on the outside of him. In fact, Hitman's now back in front of him. Wolfinator's now on the back. They've got a big Bentley of Holty in the background. Oh, this is getting juicy.
What was the gap between Shane and Green Wolfinator?
It was 22 seconds, so Shane's actually lost out there.
He's lost a lot of time, so he's probably had a slide or a mistake. So right now, Shane is looking at a P7 at the minute. His rival is P12 and stuck behind these three who are having their own little squabble at the minute. So Argent is now looking to try and hunt down KLF. He's trying to get his tyres in the right window, but Daz is already pressurising Argent himself.
Yep.
So Daz is already trying to push the back of the Bentley.
Oh, Hitman! Big wiggle through the second Lesmo there for Hitman. And that now allows the Wolfinator. Yeah, probably a brown pants moment for him there. He's looking to the outside of Ascari. Can he get it done? He now switches to the inside. Here comes the Wolfinator. Thinks better of it, though. But look who's coming in the background. And Holty's rapid. We saw in race 1 how quick Holty was. He wants to get this job done here.
These new boys, got to say, that even though they're giving it a good scrap, they're really just about giving each other the space and respect. And I think some of our boys are going to have to learn from these guys because they're keeping it just within limits of one another. And here comes Holty. Jeez, Holty, he was very late on the brakes. And here comes Hitman around the outside of Louis going towards turn 1. And Louis, by now, would have let Hitman go. Your fight is with Green Wolfinator. Not with Hitman right now.
He's got the straight line speed. The problem is that Honda's got the straight line speed. Wolfinator, though, feels like coming down the middle. They're going to look to make it 3 wide. No, they're not. Wolfinator now pulls to try and not hit the back of the Honda under the brakes. And Wolfinator tucks back in behind Hitman. Louis misses his chicane, taps her. Oh, spins round. Spun around. It was going to happen, and it has happened.
Yeah, and I think Holty there as well, trying to force the issue as well. Probably not the best thing either, but what was he meant to do? He's clearly quicker than these guys, and he's stuck behind them. So now Green Wolfinator is now cleared to try and hunt down Daz and Argent. He's got to clear Hitman first, who's making it very difficult for the guys to clear him, but again, his racing position, that's the problem.
The worst thing is Holty's really going to want to come through. Bryn's now into the pits to do his stop. What's happened?
Woo. He had a big moment on the exit of Lesbo too,
Oh,
but he is
Wolfinator!
right on the back.
Did a big slide through the Lesmos, did Daz have? Because Wolfinator's just carbon copied it, I reckon, there.
Yeah, did the exact same thing. Daz is right on the back of Argent. He's right there.
This really helps Kelly out in this race. The gap, Kelly to Argent, 8 seconds. Daz is sliding it through corners here. Really wants to get on the back of that Bentley. A podium runs Daz has had. He's had a couple this season. Argy Bargy would love another race win. He'd love another battle with Kelly for a race win. But here they come down towards the Parabolica. Kelly, 8 seconds behind his rival. Hitman's now been let off. Wolfinator's now way behind Holty. So that quartet has now ended up just sort of dying off a little bit. Shane in 7th place on his own trying to catch. Dean's running in 8th. A good solid 8th place for Dean here in no man's land. Stove Sloth again, nice and quiet. Peppy at the second Lesmo. He's nice and quiet, as is Smithy. As Hitman now comes into the pits. Holty's been released. He's got a lot of work to do to catch Smithy. PN 13th with Phil in 14th and Bryn out the pits in 15th place. Hitman in, but Daz here now really attacking the back of this Bentley.
I don't know if Daz is possibly, Argent is possibly suffering with his tyre pressures. Maybe he's just misjudged the pressures maybe and is under a little bit of pressure from Daz. I don't know. But the pace between him and KLF just seems to be ebbing and flowing between the two of them. There's another one for you there. Back
Great
in the...
Great.
As Argent actually a lot faster this first sector, 6.7
Can he made
now.
a mistake? Because that's some 2 seconds Argent's gained there.
He gained a second in the final sector when they were finishing the lap previous. Then he gained another second in the first sector.
Fair enough.
So I think Kelly might just be being a bit conservative here, looking after his car, making sure he keeps it pointing the right way. Remember, he might not have repaired the damage nor Argent. Whoa! Whoa!
Daz! Gee whiz, both of them having a bit of a wiggle through the second Lesmos.
These two are really loose in the middle sector, while Kelly's just a lot more stable, a lot more clean as they come towards the second split. It stays the same. So
Just
it's
looking. Hitman's come out P11. Smithy and Peppy and Stolzoff have all jumped him.
8th.
No. Smithy, they've not gone through the timing beam yet.
Yeah.
Peppy, Smithy have jumped him. Holty is now the next car to him, but Holty's on the back straight. Diego in the chat saying, bro. Good evening, Diego. I'm not sure why you're saying bro, but very good evening to yourself, sir. And Argent here, has he lost a bit of time to Daz? Because Daz, the gap's 1.2, but Daz looks a little close on that. We'll find out as they cross the line. 70, yeah, it is. It's come back down. And Argent's Kelly has gone back up.
Yeah, he's extended the gap, so Kelly now I think all Kelly has to do is just keep doing what he's doing, facing the right way, hit his braking points and just keep it on track. Oh, just missed his brakes.
Right, well, let's hope he's learned from his first error when he rejoined straight in front of the pack. And he's back on. I think he's hit one of the polystyrene boards. Bro, Green Wolfinator is stupid in the chat. Well, we don't want to disrespect drivers in the chat. The stewards will obviously look at it. I take it Diego is a fan of Louis.
Daz right on the back of ours. Oh, he thought about it going into the second chicane, and I thought better of it. A car just hit the gravel. That was Kelly.
Hello. His Daz just tucked underneath Argent here. I think he may just have come alongside bumper to bumper. Argent tries to close the door. Daz is keeping it there. 2 wheels on the grass. Daz is chucking it everywhere. How has he kept hold of that one? Wow.
I have no idea. Oh, Argent is trying to keep it pointing the right way. These guys are losing time hand over fist to Kelly. And meanwhile, Wolfinator is, I would say, catching, but he's not. He's got Louis catching him instead. And they cross the beam, and it is now 7.6. So that gap is extended again. Kelly's pulling away. Well, these two are too busy squabbling.
Daz is chopping at that wheel as he comes through a Ascari chicane. Through they come though, and Daz, once again, that big hole being punched in the air. Daz trying to gain on RG Bargy here. Let's just go down the pack. Louis catching Wolfinator then. Shane really in no man's land. He's coming towards that sector 2 time. Has he gained anything on Louis? through all of this, or is this... Shane struggled for pace tonight. He kind of got fortunate for a podium in race 1. He's really struggled, hasn't he, tonight?
Yeah, it's just not there. Dean's actually closer to Shane than Shane is to the leaders. So Shane is struggling overall. I think Argent seems to nail the final sector and gain all the time back. And then Daz just... Oh, Daz! Oh, I thought he missed his brakes then.
I think that was possibly more...
Headset is gone for Matt, so that's a good start. Hello.
Hopefully I'm back. Yeah.
There he is.
There he is. I think Argent was a bit more conservative into turn 1 there, knowing that he missed it last time and that he had to make it this time. That's possibly helped Kelly out with Argent not knowing his braking points into turn 1. There you go, look, 7.1.
Argent's deep.
Yeah. Daz has drifted it. Daz is just chucking it through everywhere. I'm loving it. And he's on the pad. I'm loving this from Daz. This is brilliant driving.
Wait till we see he's got a wheel. I wouldn't like to see him driving that thing.
Jeez.
Him swinging it about left, right and centre.
Argent's had a terrible run through the second Lesmo, and Daz has managed to hold it together. He's barely lost any time. How has he kept hold of that?
Wow! How has he done that? That was definitely a brown pants moment for Daz.
Wow!
And they gained time on Kelly as well.
That's impressive. That is impressive. Fair play to Daz there. Kelly, though, with 19 and a half minutes, leads this race from Argent, from Daz. Green Wolfenator's 4th. Then it's Louis Allen, who's got Bryn just in front of him a lap down. Bryn lets him go this time. It's Shane next up. Then Dean Wasocki. Stove Sloth is then 8th place. He's ahead of Pepe. Hitman's got himself ahead of Smithy with Holty in 12th. In fact, actually, Holty's gaining on these two because they're coming towards the second chicane. Holty is... or is Holty down a lap? I think Holty might be a lap down. No, he's 35 seconds off the back of Smithy, so he's coming for it. PM 13th ahead of DJ Phil, and then Bryn. Bryn just going to score some.
Oh, Daz is looking down the inside again, and he thinks better of. He's so much better on the brakes.
Yeah.
Argent just seems cautious on the brake. Holty's now coming onto the back of Daz. He's going to be in trouble here because Argent's teammate is coming, and maybe he's going to give his teammate some support here and try and give him a breathing space so that he can try and catch Kelly. But while these two keep scrapping, I think the thing is, Argent's scared well, not scared, he's nervous of the brakes into the two chicanes. Makes all the time up in the last half of the sector, and then Kelly gains that time back, just being better on the brakes in the chicanes.
Well, it's 6.3 the gap, Argent to Kelly. It's 3 tenths between Daz and Argent. Louis got the gap down 2.6 to Wolfenator. Wolfenator not really making the inroads. Oh, there's a car in front of these that has had a moment. It's 22. It's Kelly at the second Lesmos who's had a spin. Has he got it back going? He has. Just ahead of Argent. He's dropped it all on his own, and Argent comes to take the race lead. What about Daz Automatic? They're side by side, and I think Kelly tucks back in for P3. Oh no, Kelly!
It was all looking too good for him, and it's all gone wrong. Daz, though, he's just completely
Daz, though,
sideways.
anything could happen with Daz through Ascari. He's sideways through most chicanes. Anything could happen for Daz in this one at the moment. What a shame for Kelly.
He's trying to unlap himself from KLF here. He's going to go around the outside of him into Parabolica. Kelly, just get out of there, let him go. Because at the minute, he's just going to cause chaos, and Holty's gone wide. And Holty now fighting Kelly again, and Kelly's trying to hold on to his position. Has Kelly got front end damage from tapping the inside of the wall? Wolfenator, meanwhile, is on the exit Parabolica.
That's where Kelly lost it in race 1, if you remember the Lesmos. Kelly's just probably better letting Holty go. Let Holty get in front of these two to maybe slow these two down a little bit. As down in towards turn 1 they come. Kelly still trying to outbrake Holty into the chicane. Kelly just let Holty go, and Holty's tapped him round, and that is the problem.
It is.
Now,
Kelly spangs it in
Wolfenator's through.
reverse.
Lewis is through. So Kelly, in a lap, has gone from 1st to 5th. And really, should he have fought Holty into turn 1?
I think it's they're both to blame, really. Kelly not as much, obviously, due to the fact he is a race leader and he can see the two in front. Holty is a lap down. Who's his closest rival, really? Smithy, who is at Ascari. Holty is now in the second chicane and straight line the chicane as well. So realistically, Holty's not really in a fight. He should have really let Kelly go, or Kelly should have let him go. Either way, both of them have lost out.
50-50.
I would say 70-30 in my opinion, and I'd put more the blame on Holty. He is a lapped car. He's not being used to being a lap runner, but he is a lapped car, and he does need to. It states clearly in the rules not to fight or defend from the leaders.
Yeah,
but you can maintain the race in line.
I think the amount of pace Holty's had over these drivers here, I completely agree with you. You can't fight with the leaders and everything. I think the amount of pace Holty's had, it is hard. Yeah, it's one that the stewards will possibly take a look at, and I'm sure that he'll possibly go in and they'll have a butcher's at it though. But Argent leads 1.8 now. Daz's slippery slidey car seems to be coming to an end here, as he's just lost a lot of time to Argent. 5.2 is Wolfenator to Daz. 2.2 is Louis to the Wolfenator. Kelly's 2.9 behind that. Shane then is 19 seconds off the back of this pack. Dean Wasocki going in 7th place. A decent run at the moment. 15 off of Shane.
That's what we're talking about with Shane. That's how much he's struggling for pace. He's still 20 seconds behind Kelly, who's had a moment. So it's not like these guys have been driving slow. Shane's just not got the pace round here.
Yeah, no, completely agree with you. Completely agree with you. Dean 15 behind Shane, 12 in front of Stove Sloth. Stove Sloth's got Pepe gaining on the back of him for position. Hitman is coming into the Ascari chicane, so he's going to want to try 14 seconds back to Pepe. Smithy is just exited the second Lesmo. Holty is coming up to the second chicane with PN 13th place, DJ Phil 14th, and Bryn down in 15th place. Let's jump to this Pepe Stealth Sloth battle then, and see what grounds Pepe can make up here in this one. Down the start straight, Pepe looking up the inside of Stealth Sloth, and hard on the brakes once again. Tucks back in behind Stealth, and just patiently waiting is Pepe here to get past. That's PN in the background, lap down in this race. 3 seconds between Argent, Daz Wolf, and the Wolfenator to Louis, and then 2.5 to Kelly. So their top 5 now strung out by a little bit. Not been impressed with the Lamborghini tonight at Monza. It's not impressed me tonight. I know there's only 2 of them. Bryn's coming for race 2 and struggled. The Lamborghini's not impressed me tonight, then. I mean, in all fairness, the car that has impressed me is the McLaren with Wolfenator. Kelly's had a good night as well.
Yeah, definitely so. I wouldn't count the Lamborghini out just yet.
Oh, no, I'm not counting it out. I'm just saying it's disappointed tonight.
Yeah, it's definitely not gone the way that possibly Shane would have wanted, but it might just be Shane's just struggling with the circuit. You know, it is, even though it is a very simplistic circuit and it's very easy to learn, it's actually very difficult to master, especially when you're hitting braking zones. Trail braking is a massive thing around here. If you're not able to perfect trail braking, then you might struggle anyway in general around this circuit anyway. So realistically, it's all about learning braking for this track and being comfortable with your braking around here. Yeah, I honestly think, though, that a drive-through penalty for track limits for KLF. He's been pushing the limits there, and he has got a drive-through.
That's really going to ruin his night then. That will give Shane the chance to get through. And here comes Pepe down the inside of Stealth Sloth towards turn 1. Pepe then laid on the brakes. We've seen Stealth. He's had a good night as Stealth Sloth. And Pepe just outbrakes himself, has to take to the escape route. Will surely have to give that time back to Stealth Sloth. And making Stealth go the long way around. Oh, they just make contact there. Stealth just turns in on Pepe a little bit there. So I think he was trying to give the place back. But Stealth just made a bit of contact with Pepe there. Pepe through then to KLF. Drive-through penalty. Just pushing the limits a little too hard. Dean's 19 seconds behind Shane. What is Shane to Kelly? 17. So, yeah, Kelly, I reckon, should stay in front of Dean Wasocki here. And Pepe, 12.6 to Dean. Can Pepe get
Daz is bringing the gap back down again. Daz is bringing the gap down again to Argent again. Argent did have a sloppy lap, so maybe the damage to his car is starting to affect his tyres ever so slightly, as the Wolfenator also not a million miles away from him, as Kelly's coming in to serve his drive-through. Hopefully, he should be able to get in and out before Dean Wasocki gets to him. Shane's already through Parabolica, as Kelly is already halfway down the pit lane, and Dean is only now coming to Parabolica, so I think Kelly should be all right to stay ahead of Dean.
Just keep your eyes on Kelly, and we'll see when Kelly comes off the limiter. As Dean now flat scat out the exit to Parabolica and exits it now.
Release
Kelly
the limiter.
has
Kelly is
cleared.
out.
Yeah, so Dean nowhere near. Kelly, even though he's not as up to speed as Dean, is well in front, and that one will be. That one's Kelly only loses the 1 place to Shane then. Can Pepe gain on Dean? That's going to be the interesting one here.
Daz has gone wide, and that was also a McLaren
That's
involved
DJ
in
Phil.
there. That's DJ Phil. So maybe Daz and DJ Phil slight coming together as he gets pushed a little bit wide.
Do we think Daz let his tyres cool down a little bit then?
Possibly so, and he's just pushing a little bit too hard again by the looks of things, and Argent's able to extend the gap. As Daz, he's had a big moment.
Boy, yeah. Here comes Wolfinator.
Wolfinator.
Oh, he's not as close as I thought. Did Wolfinator also have a little moment through there? Louis looked dropped off the back of these two as well.
Possibly got damage as well, though, Wolfinator and Louis, just their contact earlier on, but Wolfinator right onto the back of Daz. And he's going to look around the outside of Parabolica. He's got the better run, better traction. He's pushed right up to the edge of the circuit. Wolfinator's there, and he's got the job done by the looks of things, and he's going to try and defend the inside of turn 1. Now, can he do anything about Argent up ahead? But he's still got to defend from Daz behind him, as Daz now comes to the chicane.
We know Daz loves a late break into turn 1, and there he goes again. Well, we had the Sooty send it. I think we've now got the Daz dive bomb. Because Daz has looked to do that on Argent all night, and he's got it done. How has he got that stopped? Wow.
No idea. Possibly a little bit easier on the brakes on the controller. If you hit the brakes hard,
possibly, yeah.
throttle with your finger a little bit better. So maybe he's able to get that trail brake sorted. But Wolfinator's coming back on the inside.
Oh, Argent's been off.
Gone straight on.
Argent's gone straight on at the chicane. That'll probably be another warning there. And here comes Wolfinator back ahead of Daz. Argent just starting to struggle, maybe.
Possibly so. So Argent possibly struggling with that damage as Daz runs wide again, but Wolfinator has got the middle sector.
Louis round!
Oh, Louis gone round!
Louis round. Can he get it back on track? Shane's not even at the second chicane yet. So I reckon Louis will be good to go. And Jamie, you chuffing idiot. At this rate, Pro should be all right. As clean as a whistle tomorrow.
Right.
Well done, Jamie. Either way, Daz on the beat. Whoa!
Oh!
A hop, skip, and a jump into the wall from Daz. Gee whiz, man. We've said he's been as loose as a goose through that Ascari chicane all night, and he's flirted with the sausage curbs. We know that curb's lifted anyway. And Daz into the wall. 14 seconds to Louis, though, after Louis' spin. That's put an end to Daz's race win here. Is Argent?
By the way...
Oh, no, that was Holty.
By the way, Drover of the day.
Drover, yeah. That's for the best Drover. We'll do the driver of the day in a moment. The Drover of the day first. Get your vote in for that. Green Wolfinator, KLF, Daz, Louis Allen. If you want anybody else, put it in the comments. If you do feel that... Where?
Argent's round!
Oh, he's round. Wolfinator leads. Daz is in second place. Kelly's threw away a race win. Argent's threw away a race win. Wolfinator leads from Daz. Louis Allen. Oh, Argy Bargy, he struggled at turn 1 all night.
By the way, Kelly's catching Shane.
Yeah, Shane's struggling, man. Shane really is struggling.
He's got his front bumper's damaged. His bonnet is lifted.
Oh, yes.
He's got front end damage.
Has he clipped something somewhere then? Pepe as well, by the way, was 12 seconds behind Dean a couple of laps ago. He's now 7.6. Got to go at a second, 1.3 a lap to start catching Dean, but catching's one thing, passing is another, as the late, great Murray Walker said. Right then, Wolfinator from Daz from Argent. Has Wolfinator now got the box seat? Argent will be wanting Holty to get past Daz to put a lap on him, to be able then to do something about it. Just to say, I think Bryn is near enough on the same lap as DJ Phil here.
By the way, if you're in first place, you're cursed by the sound of this.
Yeah,
so,
in this race too.
Daz has managed to stay second this whole race and not be involved in any.
And Daz is the only one that's been sideways through corners and has carried on going. So
he's even played Buckaroo with his own car.
and lost.
Yeah, the rodeo definitely stung him in the tail. But
Oh, Holty's past
Louis-
Smithy. Smithy was slow at the last corner there as Wolfenator lapped him, and Holty's got past him for 11th place.
Is Holty going to fight Wolfenator here? Is Holty going to get himself involved in another blue flag situation as Wolfenator stays to the racing line, as Holty has decided to back out of that one and comes onto the back of Wolfenator?
Jamie, NASA have just radioed say Daz has returned to Earth safely. No, that was Argent's in race 1. You missed it. Wow, that was big! Argent's gone again in the background!
Oh, he's just kept it together, facing the right way though. But Louis he's struggled to make the chicane as well. So all these guys struggling to make turn 1.
Wow.
And at this rate, the likes of Shane and Kelly, they're still not really gaining the leaders. But the way these lot are going at the minute, they might end up near the back of them. Whoa, Smithy!
That was nice from Smithy. That's a good drift through there.
Elegant.
Jeez.
That was. I enjoyed that one.
Yeah, that was good. Wolfenator from Daz from Argent. That's not Argent for the race lead. That's Holty, who's a lap down at the moment then. And wow, Hitman on the back of Stealth Sloth within a 10th here. So let's just drop back down to this battle. Stealth Sloth, he's got damage. He's got the bonnet lifted. And no one tips you, Mike. Don't worry. We used to, but we've learnt our lesson. Hitman down towards turn 1. Sorry, go on.
He used to get cursed that badly. We used to go on just to make sure.
We changed his name. Hitman around the outside of Stealth Sloth. That is job done. 4P, 9 and 10. Pepe to Dean Wasaki, 6.3, but 4.5 minutes left to go.
The thing is, Peaceful got so used to be calling that he's now decided to take into his stride of being called the Peaceful Pirouette, so he has to live up to the name now. So
I think this guy's had more nicknames than hot dinners.
Yeah, everyone's had the kind of move names, you know, like the Liam Lunge or the Sutty Send It or the Daz Dive, you know. But Peaceful has always had the Peaceful Pirouette or that guy you never want to tip for the race because he will definitely throw it away.
Right.
The only one to win the first race, and that is it. He will never win. And that's the thing he'll keep to himself, is I won the first race at Simplay Motorsport.
I'll tell you what, Smithy was breaking into turn 1 there. Smithy ran deep himself. Argent's nearly ploughed into back of Smithy. He's missed his brakes again at turn 1.
Dude's catching Kelly.
He's brought the gap down a little bit, yeah.
53.9 for Kelly. What is Dean? 54.0. They're matching similarly. Has Kelly had a moment this lap? He comes towards the line.
Kelly's not fuel saving again.
54.1.
Is Kelly fuel saving?
Dean, what does he do? He crosses the line at 54.7. So Dean's actually lost time on this one. I don't think Kelly's fuel saving. He probably would have been a bit smarter about this and added an extra bit of fuel, surely.
Hitman 4.4 to Dean with just under 3 minutes left. Gap out front, Wolfenator 6 seconds clear of Daz. Now Argent's 3.4 behind. The Honda not going to get himself on the podium, it looks like today, as he's coming through 5.6 behind Argy Bargy. Shane is 27 seconds behind this top 4.
Holty's just straight line as Scary. He's had a moment through there, and Smithy, to be fair, Smithy's not a million miles away from Holty. Still within reach if Holty makes a mistake. Smithy's had a solid round.
Shane is 25 seconds off the back of the front 4. He's lost even more time. He's wide again. He's had a bad night.
He has had a bad night, but he's still scored consistent points. He's had 3rd and now he's 5th.
Yeah.
You know, Holty, yes, he won race 1, but he's in 11th, you know?
Yeah,
so points-wise, they're probably even right now.
Well, he lost 4 points to Holty in race 1. And then if we look at as it stands at the moment, Holty will score 10. Shane will score 17. Shane's actually going to have gained 3. Actually, no, gained 2 because of Holty's pole. So he's going to have gained 2. Oh, Argent, another mistake at turn 1.
His brakes must be struggling. Whether if he's gone endurance brakes or he's gone sprint brakes, they're not wanting to make the end by the looks of things, and his braking performance has just gone completely wrong.
Right, I think Dean's had a moment here because Pepe's now within 2.3 seconds of him.
And DJ Phil was in the pits.
Yeah, this could bring Bryn into this one.
Did Kelly do that last lap at 53.5? Dean towards the line. He does a Still waiting for Dean. He hasn't crossed the line yet. There he is. A 56.1.
Yeah.
Well, Pepe done a 52.7. So he's easily faster than these guys around him.
Wolfinator. Yeah, he's at Ascari chicane, and there will be one more lap in this race from the Wolfinator. And he's got a commanding lead now over Daz. Daz 7.4 behind. Argent has sort of gained on Daz, then missed turn 1. There's another half a second. He's pulled back Louis to Argent. That gap's at 4 seconds. Shane is 32 seconds off the back, man. He's nearly a whole sector behind. Kelly, 7 seconds. What a shame Kelly's going to run out of time. The man to watch at the minute is Pepe. 7/10 off the back of Dean here.
Yeah, I think Shane's just carrying damage to the front of his car. Yes, we keep saying, oh, Shane, oh, Shane, oh, Shane. He's carrying damage by the looks of things to me. And also, the car's just not been on his side tonight. So really, I think this is damage limitation for Shane to come away with some decent points and ahead of Holty. Yes, it's not the massive amount he probably would have wanted, but he has kept his nose clean. He has kept himself out of trouble to some degree, but he's had a 5th and a 3rd. It's not the end of the world.
Breaking news. Argent made turn 1.
Woo!
This battle, Dean and Pepe, by the way, Hitman, only 3 seconds off in the background then. So Dean's got to make sure he not only gets ahead and stays ahead of Pepe, he's got to also make sure that Hitman doesn't come into. In fact, he'll probably want Hitman to come into this to allow him to attack Pepe on what will be the final lap of this race. The 666 at the 186, sorry, is at Lesmo 1. So keep an eye on him.
He hasn't retired. He's just sent me a message. He has got major damage. He's got about 2 minutes while he's sitting in the pits.
I mean, hey, if he's in the pits, he's in the pits. If it's doing his damage, it's doing his damage. He can't help that, can he?
Nope, not at all.
So Dean crosses the line. The gap to Pepe is 4/10. The gap to Hitman is 2 seconds. So Hitman really charging here. Dean has to get this lap bang on.
Hitman's going to be right on the back of these when they get to Parabolica. Meanwhile, Green Wolfinator exits Ascari and is heading towards Parabolica. Holty goes past Wolfinator, so if anything happens between Stealth Sloth, who goes into turn 1, Holty might get that place on him. So Wolfinator's let him go, and Wolfinator into the Parabolica, and what a recovery drive from him, considering he was involved in that first lap incident.
What a recovery drive indeed. It's going to be race win number 2 for Green Wolfinator this season. It's another race win for the McLaren, and the Wolfinator brings it home in P1. Daz, we said the man loves a podium, not to be in the race, but a 2nd place. Good drive from him, Argy Bargy. Good recovering drive there. Third for Argy Bargy. Lewis is 4th place. We're going to have to drop back to Dean Wysocki and this fight with Pepe. So Louis in 4th. We wait for Shane to cross the line in 5th. Look at this 3 here. So Shane, he's nowhere near the end yet. We could possibly watch this fight into the Ascari chicane. Dean, nice and slow and steady, and that's really putting Pepe onto the Hitman onto the back of Pepe. Through Ascari they come. Shane now rounds the final part of Ascari for 5th place. Not his night.
Hitman's going to the outside of Pepe. Dean's in the middle of the track. Shane will finish 5th. Kelly will finish 6th, but Dean is still defending from the 2 Aston Martins. They're trying to go around him. Pepe's holding his line, and Hitman's going to go around the outside. Has he got better traction? Has he got... Dean's dropped it!
Oh, no, Dean!
Pepe! Dean! Pepe! Dean!
Oh, he's been pushed into the pits! Oh, Dean's been pushed into the pits! Hitman, Pepe gets 7th. Pepe gets 7th place. Dean will finish in P9 after all that. Hitman will come away with a P8. Stealth Sloth is going to come across the line in 10th. It says
DJ
Dean's
Phil
finished.
Get back out.
Phil got back out. That's fine. See, Bryn then got ahead of DJ Phil as well. So, Holty, 11th place for him. Smithy, P12. Well, tonight has had all sorts of drama. Bryn, 14th place. PN, 13th place. Jeez, I'm struggling to keep up with what's happened in this one. DJ Phil will cross the line 15th. We obviously lost El Fernie. That'll be another quali ban for him next week. PN will cross the line in 13th. Here comes DJ Phil. What a night's worth of racing that has been. We'll get the top lot in for an interview. Hopefully Daz will join in, and we'll come and have a chat with us.
What a
But
dramatic
that then-
night's worth of racing.
Oh, Dan, just sum that up, Dan. Sum that up.
Well, race 1 was very, very good. Very clean, very fair racing towards the end. It's got a little bit messy. But then race 2, anything and everything that could have happened. We had drive-through penalties. We had cars not going anywhere at the start of the race. We had every bit of drama you could have in one Monza race, and it wasn't wet. So, yeah, it's been a dramatic second race here, and the pros might have to breathe a sigh of relief possibly, but who knows what could happen. Hopefully they can negotiate Monza a little bit better. But
Been some fantastic fights, though.
there's been some great racing, definitely, especially in race 1 and a couple in race 2 as well. But it just started getting a little bit sloppy and messy from some of the drivers. So either way, we survived Monza, and these boys will be heading to Zolder next. And yeah, that's an even tighter circuit, and I think the Bentley could be possibly strong at Zolder. But either way, we've got 2 of the top 3 in with us at the minute.
We have indeed. Before we get to them top 2, Holty leads the championship standings 47 points clear of Shane. So Shane does pull 3 points back in this fight. Argent 68 behind, so he's closing that gap to Shane. That's 21 to Shane. Pepe is only 11 behind Argent now, with Wolfenator 2 behind Pepe. KLF 29 behind Green Wolfenator in 6th. PN Motorsport is 7th on 189, 11 behind KLF. 13 behind his teammate is Daz Automatic, P8. Smithy then a bit further back in P9. He's only 4 clear of Stealth Sloth. Bryn 15 behind Stealth in 11th, with DJ Phil 4 behind him in 12th. Dean up to 13th, 10 behind Phil. Welshie not here tonight, 96 points. Louis Allen goes 15th on 80. Dennis 75 for Hitman up to 58, and Leon Fernie bottom of the pack on 59 points. A&H Motorsport, just to say as well, Smithy and Stealth can now not win the Drivers' Championship as well. So it is only now the top 8 who can win it. As for the Constructors, only 4 teams left in the Constructors' battle. A&H Motorsport, 166 points clear of Tickle Pink, with the East and West Ferraris some 21 points behind. So getting in this battle for second place here. Audio Sport are 23 behind them, so could be a great scrap for second place in the Constructors. MC Motorsport 5th, out of the running. Racing Group lead the Independents, they're also out the running. Austrian Racing Club 7th, that's a good one, racing in 8th. Lone Ranger Racing in 9th, with Team Oro Titan 10th. JWB Racing Esports of Dennis in 11th. JWB Racing Esports 2 of Hitman bottom of the pack. And we will first of all start with Argy Bargy. Caroline, turn 1 wasn't your friend in that second race.
No, I was carrying too much damage, obviously, from the lap 1 incident. I decided not to repair the damage. And then the more I pushed, the more I made mistakes. And I don't think I deserved. Obviously, I was never going to get the win with Green Wolfenator catching me like a hand over fifth. But just one mistake too many, it caught me out.
One mistake too many, it caught you out. Do you not think you'd have... obviously, Kelly dropped it on his own at the end. Daz, just talk us through what you saw of Daz in your rear view mirror, because what we saw on stream was Daz sideways. What did you see in your rear view mirror of him?
When was that? Sorry, I caught
through a Ascari, through most of the track, to be honest with you, but mainly a Ascari.
I don't remember seeing anything of Dav, to be honest with you. I know he went off when he was with Green Wolfenator, but other than that, yeah, obviously, I just kept making mistakes, and I pulled a gap on Dav, and then made a mistake and had to do it all over again. So.
Talk us through the start line, because Dan saw you in a wall at the start. Talk us through what happened there.
I don't know what happened, but it was 2 or 3 rows in front of me. It's as if one car didn't accelerate when the light went green, and everyone reacted. I've reacted, and obviously then got collected by Shane. I was directly behind Shane, went past Shane, and then Shane must have reacted and then spun me out. But I'm not blaming Shane, it's not his fault, it's just natural reaction to avoid the collision.
To come away with a P3, though, after all of that at the start, that must be happy.
I'd rather the P1, but like I say, I think the damage was too much at the end.
Well done tonight. Zolder next week. Dan reckons it's a bit of a Bentley circuit. What do you think you can do around there?
Not one of my favourite circuits, but as I say, I wasn't confident about tonight, and I've come away with a podium, so see what happens.
Well done, Kieran. We'll see you next week.
Cheers.
And we moved to Daz, and we said before the night started, this man loves a podium. Well, it's another week, it's another podium. It's just that race winner eluding you now, Daz.
Yeah, I think lost first and was gifted second, to be fair. I got hit on lap 1, carrying a lot of damage for most of the race. Got repaired, then got hit again. But can't grumble. Points
No.
are points.
Points are points. Taking up rallying. Yeah, a lot of sideways moment through
I
there
know.
tonight.
Oof, yeah, squeaky bum time quite a bit, to be fair.
That Ferrari was on the edge, wasn't it, really?
Yeah, I was trying to stay with Kieran, to be honest. And then I just kept making little mistakes and it was costing me more time.
Podium, though, got to be happy with it. Another podium climbs you up the tables, helps your team out in terms of catching tickle pink for the constructors. It's all points at the end of the day.
Yeah, happy with that. Can't complain. Just really disappointed. I'm really disappointed with the second place.
Well, unlucky, mate. That race win, I'm sure, is going to come. You've got driver of the day from the fans as well. Zolder next week. What can we do around there?
I don't mind Zolder, to be honest. As for the fans, I think they need their glasses clean because there's some better drivers than me today.
Well, either way, you're the fans driver of the day. Congratulations, buddy.
Cheers.
Dan, final words from you, your driver of the day. Let's hear it.
Well, Monza, the tempo of speed, and a lot of them went very fast because they spent most of the time on the grass or in the gravel. In Daz's case, he was playing Buckaroo with his car most of the time, and Argent as well, both of them wanting to explore the curbs. But it's been one of those nights where it's been a lot of drivers making sloppy, silly mistakes by themselves and then causing other cause of carnage and chaos. But this is the fun of Monza. It's the simplistic track, but it's so much easier to make mistakes here because it is that easy of a circuit. But either way, they'll come away from this, they'll learn. A lot of them will know to stay away from the curbs. It's been a dramatic night. I think the pros, hopefully, I'm touching wood and touching every lucky thing that I have in my house, the lucky horseshoe, a four-leaf clover, anything you have. Hopefully we can have a better night tomorrow night and keeping it clean. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting one at Zolder. I think the Ferrari could look good. The Bentley looks good, possibly around there as well. I'm not 100% sure on the Lamborghini. Possibly the McLaren definitely should be good around there as well. So we will see what happens there. I'm going to have to give it a joint one. I think that has done pretty well in race 2. But I think Wolfinator overall has been the man that's been at the top. He scored the most points tonight, and with a race win and a second place, what more can you ask? So Wolfinator for me, probably driver of the day.
Yep, I'm going to go the green Wolfinator as well. First to second, great racing from him. Missed out just in race 1. That's all we've got time for. Join PN Motorsport and whoever in the commentary box tomorrow night. We're not sure what's happening tomorrow night, but PN will be there to bring you the action. Join him live 8 p.m. GMT +1 for the pros. This handsome fella next to me in the commentary box will be back on Sunday night, 8 p.m. GMT +1 for Kota. Gary, if you're listening, don't do an argy-bargy tonight and make sure you make turn 1, as he'll be live for that. We will be back next week at Zolder. Back in Belgium, nowhere near the Ardennes Forest. I don't know where Zolder is in relation to Spa, but back in Belgium for Zolder, a very, very tricky circuit. Another one with plenty of chicanes for Argent to possibly miss. So you will not want to miss that one next Wednesday night, 8 p.m. GMT +1 for that. In the meantime, it's been an absolute pleasure. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell to be notified, and hit that like button as well. The thumbs up button goes a long way on the channel. We will see you next time. Take care. Good night.
Good night.